something he used for hunting, and that was in his car.
A teenage boy who was with 3 other students yesterday. Taylor says they're going to have extra officers at the school for the rest of the school year as they work to figure out where all these guns are coming from. People are getting calls again from scammers who say they are police officers and that the person will be arrested unless they pay fines now. The Farmington Police Department says they dealt with someone scammed out of more than $50,000. Police will never demand money over the phone. Now our top national story this hour from ABC News. Clashes are breaking out this morning on the campus of UCLA. People in competing protests were seen throwing objects at each other, and police have moved in. ABC's Chris Christie watched it unfold from a news chopper.
These scuffles break out one after another. Lots of very heavy sticks, very heavy barricades, scooters, all types of things being employed to inflict harm.
UCLA says the encampments being set up on campus are unlawful and in violation of school policy. Your money at this moment, markets are mixed. The Dow, the only one in the green, trying to recover some of the losses from yesterday. It's up 92 points right now. The S&P down another 7. The NASDAQ is off about 15 points this hour. Coming up, a slight warm-up and then some rain possible. Looks like the best chance on Sunday, but we'll take a closer look at the forecast next. KSL News Time, 9:02. News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
My name is Case Lawrence, and I'm running for Congress. The chaos at our southern border is a national emergency. We can fix the border, but not with politicians who are more worried about their own political future than America's future. I'm not a politician. I'm a problem solver. I hope you'll join me. I'm Case Lawrence, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Case for Congress.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
Check out AMCO's multiple financing options, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow.
AA MCO.
When you think of Utah's homeless, who do you see? They are people with names and faces, and many are in dire circumstances. They are men and women, and sometimes children. Many are living on the street, in a car, or in a shelter. Some choose to be homeless. Most do not. Many experience the challenges of addiction or mental illness. All are vulnerable. Homelessness is a crisis, one that affects us all. Utah is building a coalition of community leaders and concerned citizens united to end the plight of homelessness. Homelessness should not mean hopelessness. Learn more at projecthumandignity.org. A message from Utah Impact Partnership.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night, Dee and I had the chance to go to Hale Center Theater and catch the opening night of a regional premiere. The title of the show? I know you probably haven't heard it before because, as I mentioned, it's a regional premiere. May We All, a country musical. This is where the wide, wide world is like one big country song. What a fun show. Small-town country girl goes out for her dream and ends up back in her hometown in Tennessee. There are so many wonderful, familiar tunes here. Original music, of course. And what I love is the fun story that's all mixed with the greatest voices and live music throughout the presentation. You're going to love May We All. And still to come, just around the corner now, how about the Time Machine? It's time to get your season tickets. Nutty Professor, Addams Family, The Magician's Elephant, Beauty and the Beast. There's so much more. Go to hct.org. Get your tickets now in time for Mother's Day.
Let's get that look at traffic and weather together here. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app, where you can save up to 20 cents a gallon Len, what's it looking like this hour?
Well, Tim, it's looking pretty good, actually, overall. Northbound I-15, we do have that right lane closed at 123rd South, and you've got slowing pretty much from the point of the mountain up into Draper, and a little bit coming off there at about 114th South is slow. Also, the 201, it remains slow ever since that accident this morning. That rollover, that is as you head eastbound, pretty much from about 7200 West to Redwood Road, and coming into the city from Woods Cross to North Salt Lake, you had a previous accident there that's slowing things down as well. Calling all Wasatch and Summit County residents, use the code LOCAL VIP to get early access and lock in your summer plans for Utah Symphony's Deer Valley Music Festival. I'm Len Thomas in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly sunny today, in case you couldn't tell. Highs at 55. Tomorrow, 60. We'll warm a notch to 61 on Friday. But if you're targeting a day to get out and do something, how about Saturday when it's going to be rain-free and 77 degrees right now? Cloudy downtown, 46 this hour. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, I'm Tim Hughes, reminding you to listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
One of the big stories that Utah's Morning News has been tackling all morning long is hoax threats down in Little Payson, Utah. Dave, you and I were just down there a couple of weeks ago for the return of Kevin Bacon and the 40th anniversary of Footloose at Payson High. Well, apparently this middle school has been a revolving door of evacuations down there because of these hoax bomb threats.
And that's my go-to. Whenever I hear any kind of evacuation, I think, oh, it's all a hoax. In fact, we had that active shooter situation, hoax, that was happening down at Southern Utah University.
Right.
We were covering it all morning long. We were
right.
giving like second-to-second updates. Hoax. Unbelievable.
But our coverage was great.
The coverage, we were all over the hoax, though. We were all over the hoax. Oh, my goodness. It's 9:07. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
Now, the launch is brought to you by Master Electrical Services, home of the upfront pricing guarantee. And here are the 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Wall Street Journal is reporting that Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's going to force a vote next week on ousting Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. She's been hot. Not her himself. But she's been hot after Johnson to get him out as Speaker for weeks.
This is basically a warning, and it's time for us to go through the process, take our time, and
guess
find
what?
a new Speaker of the
The
House
Democrats just came out and said they're going to come through and save him.
Something they could have done for Kevin McCarthy, they absolutely refused. There was blood feuds for Kevin McCarthy, and Democrats are like, you want to kick him out? Just fine. But why are they standing up for Mike Johnson?
Countdown. 2.
If you're looking for an affordable house to buy, you're going to have to move. But I refuse to move to one of these 6 cities that's on the Fox Business posted this earlier today, Dave. It's on the list. There's 6 cities in the entire nation. Not one of them is in Utah. Birmingham is one of the most affordable places to live.
Roll Tide.
What are the other 5? And would you dare live in any of these cities across America just to afford a house? We're going in depth in the 10 o'clock hour.
Trust me, there's places in Utah you can afford if you go far enough and sagebrushy enough. Our sagebrush level tolerance is very, very low. There's affordable housing depth. It's called the West Desert.
Launch. Countdown. 1.
Top of the show today, rinse, repeat, evacuate. Rinse, repeat, evacuate. Utah Middle School being manipulated by a series of hoax bomb threats leads to the typical scene, Dave, of kids being hurried from the school building and intense police searches of the building. And I'm sure that the threat, the guy who's made the threat sitting back watching the news coverage and laughing. But I can certainly see where the school and parents are getting like uber frustrated with this.
It's just frustrating. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I really just can't wrap my head around the world that we live in right now.
It's the boy who cries wolf. Like, how many times is this going to happen? And then you just ignore it. And then you're completely and totally unprepared if something really does happen.
and Dujanovic.
The Launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
But this story has Dave and I contemplating and arguing about this idea of ignoring or evacuating. And we'll get into that in about 10 minutes. And we're also going to be taking your live phone calls on this. Like, what would you want your kid's school to do? But let's first set the scene. The three-peat, the trifecta of fake bomb threats at one school in Utah. It's a middle school. In how many weeks? The school district breaks it down for us.
Over the last 2.5 weeks has received 3 separate bomb threats.
And I guarantee you, every time something like this happens, the heart starts racing, and you're like, this is probably just a hoax. This is a joke. But we have to go through it because what if? What if? I wonder if we're scurrying kids out and we're going emergency all the time. Is there more trauma going on? Are we panicking kids and traumatizing them more by throwing up the alarm bells every 2 seconds than if we were just maybe had a more reasonable approach toward it and say, is this a real threat? Or does someone just saying bomb in an airport, is that enough to get you hauled away?
This is happening in Payson, Utah. The home of Footloose. We were just there at Payson High a couple of weeks ago celebrating the return of Footloose star Kevin Bacon. And now Mount Nebo Middle School has become a revolving door of evacuations for the kids there. So, but imagine you're that parent, you're getting that notification again, right? Those notifications come to your phone. Maybe your kid gives you a text and like, guess what? It's happening again. A town of 22,000. This is the biggest thing going on there, right? I mean, you feel like your kids in the school district is being very well manipulated by some phantom faux bomb threat.
It's just frustrating. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I really just can't wrap my head around the world that we live in right now.
And part of that, we have no idea. Is this a middle school kid that doesn't want to take his math test, so he calls in or sends an email or leaves a Post-it note somewhere? Or is this happening overseas? The FBI has actually said, we have suspicions and think that this may be orchestrated, not this one specifically, but this rash of hoaxes that's going on, that we think this is happening overseas, which makes it impossible to prosecute and catch.
We've done a lot of things different since I was in middle school. And yeah, there were middle schools when I was that young. We've changed a lot of things.
Not a single schoolhouse?
There's no longer typewriters. Instead, we send iPads and, laptops home with the kids. Everything's online these days. You get the alerts to your cell phone. Parents, when I was in school, my parents didn't even know what we were up to. They didn't know how many times somebody was pulling the fire alarm, and we were all heading out to the playground or the track and waiting there for the all clear to come back in. I don't even know if they had bomb-sniffing dogs back then. But anyway, the one thing we haven't changed is how we respond to these threats. This is the same way we were doing things back when I was a kid, and I'm late 50s. We do know that the district is holding a news conference this afternoon, and of course, Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News will be bringing you the latest on what they decided to do. But they said something today, Dave, to our Peter Johnston regarding I don't know. It just sounded like maybe there's a policy change in the works.
And as a school district, we're going to share our plans moving forward to keep kids in schools. And
now that sends a signal to me that maybe they're going to stop with this revolving door of evacuations.
This is a very good move to tell the parents, this is how we're moving forward. Sure, we're taking a little bit of a risk. We think it's a calculated risk. We don't think it really adds any danger to our kids. If you don't like it, at least you've been notified.
Well, I don't know for sure if that's what they're going to do, but let's talk about it. Do they keep evacuating or start ignoring? Dave and I face off next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
That's right, it's me again, and I'm at J&J Garden Center in Layton, the best place to shop for Mother's Day, where they have something special for every mom, and of course at a special price. Right now, all hanging baskets are 20% off, all flats of flowering bedding plants are just $22.98, and all 4.5-inch geraniums are 20% off too. That's incredible. J&J Garden Center definitely has the best products at the best price, so give Mom something special this Mother's Day with a special purchase from J&J Garden Center in Layton. Take the Layton Parkway exit, Main Street to Gentile, then west 2 miles. You've got to see it to believe it. You really do.
Country grown to your home, J&J Garden Center.
Get the news.
There were crackdowns on protests on college campuses around the country overnight.
And a deeper understanding of the news.
Where I think it crosses the line, all of a sudden you're in my face.
Give us a call and your best argument.
Tim and Amanda catch you up first thing in the morning. Then join Dave and Debbie and Boyd Matheson for conversation about the news middays. And Jeff Kaplan has the latest developments on your drive home. For news and talk, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
This is Jeff Stout with Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. Interest rates are not the only thing that has evolved in the mortgage industry. The way loan programs are priced has also undergone some changes. These days, sometimes FHA loans work out better, even factoring in mortgage insurance. This is because loans have what are called loan-level pricing adjustments, and they are usually much higher on conventional loans. These fees are more prominent with cash-out refinances, low down payment purchases, and lower credit score scenarios. These extra costs end up pushing interest rates higher, and this is why a rate quote without context is usually inaccurate. It can be confusing, but we can help you sort through the numbers to see which option fits your situation. Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple, 801-264-9494. That's 264-9494. Or on the web at finkmcgregor.com, NMLS 289115.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
Are you ready to start your journey as a small business owner? Ready to start something bold? Something groundbreaking? Utah is the startup capital of the world, and we're setting a new global standard for innovation and entrepreneurship. So if you're thinking about starting a new business or looking to grow an existing business, this is where you'll find the resources to make it happen. Visit startup.utah.gov today and start something here.
If you love to keep up on the latest news, the best stories, we do a great job of curating the best stories, the 3 things you need to know in a newsletter. It'll go straight to your email. To get it, all you have to do is text the word inbox to 57500. We work with KSL TV. to be able to get these best stories out to you. So make sure you check out the 3 Things You Need to Know newsletter. Text the word inbox to 57500.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, another gun was found from a Roy High School student. It is the 4th gun recovered from students in just the last 3 weeks. Second, 200 students at the University of Utah again protested against the Israel-Hamas war. Fortunately, they were peaceful with no conflicts. And third, House Democrats say they will vote to keep Republican Speaker Mike Johnson in his position if there is a motion to kick him out. We're going to look for a sunny day today, a high of 55 degrees, and it's 46 in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic.
Oh, what to do? Do you evacuate or do you ignore? And by ignore, I don't mean, you never bring police in, but do you leave the kids in the classroom while the bomb-sniffing dogs roam around? So we go with 3 bomb threats, 3 evacuations in 2 weeks in the Nebo School District at the middle school there. The Nebo District is holding a news conference, they said, this afternoon with cops. I guess they're going to discuss what sounds like to me maybe changes in the approach to these threats. We don't know for sure, but here's a little taste what we heard from the school district this morning.
And as a school district, we're going to share our plans moving forward to keep kids in schools. And
is it fair to say the current policy is cover your backside? Which is take every single threat as seriously as possible. Evacuate the kids, call the cops, bring in the bomb-sniffing dogs, go door to door to door from classroom to classroom to make sure. Well, how comprehensive can a search be? You've got a huge school that fits 2,500 kids. How safe do you think are you feeling?
Oh, once they give you the all clear?
On this all clear. You're like, come on. You searched this entire school with 9 people.
Yeah, and 1 dog.
In 45 minutes?
And
come on.
And 1 dog.
And 1 dog.
1 cute dog. We haven't changed much the way we do things in 50 years since I'm old. I'm old. And I can see my younger self in middle school standing out in the middle of the high school track waiting for the all clear because somebody pulled the fire alarm and we got ushered out of the building. We did not have email back in the day, so maybe that made for not as many bomb threats. But this is really, I look at this as a scary game of odds in a lot of ways. We know there are thousands and thousands of bomb threats, yet even say this out loud, but when's the last time we saw one of these IEDs go off at a school? Rarely do the number of threats, match the actual incidents. So, and the people who are making these threats know this, right? And they're probably watching the television just to laugh and, see what became of their bomb threat. And in this case, a bunch of frustrated parents who are saying, the 3rd bomb threat in 2 weeks, what a horrible world we live in. Well, I wonder if it's time to think differently about how we handle these. It's a scary thought because it's kids first. Of course, I love my kids. I wouldn't want them to, anything bad to happen to them. But you said earlier something that really hit me, Dave, which is maybe we're causing our kids a ton of trauma by doing this.
Remember, this is happening not just with bomb threats, but active shooter situations as well.
We'll get to that in a second. I want to break down some of the incidents that we've had around Utah, which just bear out that it happens over and over again. But I want to ask you what you think about that. I want you to elaborate more on that trauma component. What are you thinking when you say that?
Well, think about it. When you, and maybe it's different for high school kids, but let's think about the elementary school kids where you have 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds.
Oh, my heart's breaking.
And now all of a sudden you're like, pull the fire alarm. It goes off. You're like hustling everybody out. If you genuinely believe it's a bomb threat and you are hustling everybody out and the rumors are flying, well, the 5 or 6-year-old probably doesn't realize this is probably just a big joke, right? They don't understand that. And you can see that would stick with somebody forever.
I love that you're thinking in that direction, because I think so often we just play into the get everybody out of the building.
Yeah.
And I understand. I get it. I mean, but here you are talking to the mom who, when, Brighton High School put out word that there was an active shooter threat, and they had tamped down things within the, overnight, and let us know that they didn't think the threat was legit. But we woke up the next morning. Of course, my kids said, "Do we have to go to school?" And I said, "Well, yes, get yourselves over there." I mean, I trust the decision makers at the school. Love the principal. Love the decisions that they're making. Get over there. And they went. All my 3 kids went. I gave them the mom look. I said, we're not going to be afraid of something that they've already said was a hoax. They get there. They call me. Like, there's nobody here.
We're the only ones in class.
Can we come home, please? They were, there's probably 1 or 2 other kids. The mom said the same thing. We're not going to keep bowing down to the fake, the hoaxes, the fear. We're going to live our lives. And what's happened is all these threats have created our life, have molded our lives to the point where our kids are starting to live in fear.
Yes. And it is much national attention as the active shooters get, or when some tragedy happens, I can kind of see where everyone is just hypersensitive about this. And we do want to err on the side of caution, but we also need to be able to decipher what is a serious threat or not.
Dave and I talking about just contemplating as parents, you ignore, do you evacuate, on the heels of 3 bomb threats at one school. It's like a revolving door of evacuations there, and the same scene over and over and over again. Rinse, repeat, evacuate. Rinse, repeat, evacuate. Happening at Mount Nebo Middle School, and they've kind of concluded that maybe there's been some controversy at the school. They don't know for sure, but perhaps that's what's creating these threats. We don't know who's doing it. Cops in the district holding a news conference this afternoon. But overall, we do know that we have been subjected across the state to a number of threats. You spoke with the one at SUU a couple of weeks ago. I did a brilliant job covering that hoax live on the air for 3 hours. But we also had a series of bomb threats in December that emptied out school buildings across Utah. And then remember, you and I were on the air last May, when active shooter hoaxes, not just in Utah, but really in several states, were emptying out school buildings all over Utah. Dan Ruscone of KSL5 TV will take you back to May.
At Spanish Fork High School, worried parents met students at the football field. By this time, word had spread that it was all a hoax, but the trauma and emotion was still very fresh of what everyone experienced.
Yeah, it was very, very, very scary. All of us start crying. We were like, this isn't real. It's pretty traumatic.
That was high school kids.
Mm-hmm.
16, 17, 18 years old, and they were traumatized by it. The younger you get, the more they don't understand that this is likely a hoax. This is the kind of thing that will stick with you forever. And when you see police coming in their SWAT gear, fully armed, guns raised, clearing room to room to room, we just need to take a breath and say, we could react and go nuclear on every single rumor. But that's not, I think, the right move. I think we've got to figure out what are some parameters and what's a reasonable response.
If you just Google bomb threats, which I did this morning, tons and tons and tons of Google searches appear. I mean, it's just tons. It's loaded. And so, as I was coming on the air with Tim and Amanda at 8:15 this morning, I Googled it again, and I saw that India was evacuating 100+ schools and thousands of kids because of what they had deemed possibly hoax bomb threats. It's happening all over the world for a whole host of different reasons. I've just gotten to the point where we need to really consider redoing some policies here. Or is that me just being crazy?
No, the Department of Justice produced a report. There's 4 things I want to share with you coming up in the next segment. 4 things, and I thought that's completely reasonable. If we're going to talk about criteria and when we should go threat level midnight, I thought these were very reasonable.
Okay, so you're going to check those 4 things off for us in about 4 minutes. Also love to take some phone calls and get parents to weigh in on this. If you're a teacher, you get bonus points. You get on the air, you get to the front of the line if you're a teacher. Or you work for a school district and you just want us to put your take on the air. Do we keep evacuating kids for threats, or do we just start ignoring the threats? 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK. Look forward to your live calls next.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Tim Hughes with a look at some of our top stories this half hour. The Alpine School District is narrowing down options for a potential split, which could go to voters this fall. The district board voted to continue studying several plans and tell KSL if division happens, they prefer an east-west split. Some district leaders say they still feel the best option is to keep the district together the way it is. The Division of Wildlife Resources says it has $5.5 million to be used for protecting endangered species in the state.
This is a grant going towards the Division's Endangered Species Mitigation Fund. This money will be divvied up between 60 or so projects helping native endangered species and their habitat. Some of the animals benefiting are the Colorado pike minnow, the razorback sucker, and the Virgin River chub, just to name a few. The mitigation fund has helped Utah species get off or stay off the endangered species list since 1997. Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Arrests have been made over the chopping down of a beloved tree near the Hadrian Wall in England. The wall, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was built by the Roman army in 122 A.D. 2 men are accused of chopping down a 50-year-old sycamore last October, which then toppled over onto the wall, damaging it. Your money at this moment, the market's mixed. The Dow still the only one in the green. It's up about 95 points, which is 0.25%. The S&P is down a third right now, off 14, and the NASDAQ is off about that same 0.3 right now with a loss of 52 points. Coming up, mild temperatures the rest of the work week. Best chance of showers for your weekend plans coming on Sunday. We'll tell you more about that next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the nines, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
I've got Adam Kirkham, president of the Utah Association of Realtors, here to talk about changes to the home buying process because of a national settlement. Adam, what does the settlement mean for Utah home buyers?
Dave, we don't know exactly how everything will play out, but we do expect to see some changes starting in July, which include the requirement that a buyer will need to sign a formal representation agreement with their realtor at the start of the home buying process.
What other changes should buyers expect?
Utah buyers will likely see, as a result of this settlement, some additional complexity to the negotiation process and paperwork.
I get a little nervous when you say added complexity, but maybe that is why it's so important to use a realtor.
Yeah, a realtor is there to help you navigate those complexities. Not just this change from the settlement, but what is the best price for a home or what concessions and value. Your realtor will also help you manage all of this paperwork and negotiations so you don't have to do it on your own.
Well, thanks, Adam. You can learn more at utahrealtors.com.
Dear Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. My mom needed a computer to Zoom call me, my family, and the grandkids from across the country. You guys were so patient, helping her get everything set up just right. She gets so frustrated when things don't work, so I'm grateful that we found PC Laptops to hold her hand. I know it can seem crazy that she comes in every week for help, but you guys really are patient and treat her just like family. Signed, Happy Judy. Thanks, Judy. You know what's also amazing? The team from our store mentioned she brought by a giant box of donuts for them. This warms my heart, and this is why I started PC Laptops in 1992. PC Laptops, we really do love you. We have new computers with a lifetime warranty from $49 a month with 0 interest for a year. OAC, PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com, where we love you.
I'm Jason Walton. In business, I mentor hundreds of Utahns as they pursue their American dream. The same dream career politicians treat with contempt. They send our money to our enemies abroad while shortchanging our veterans at home. It's not right. They're letting drug cartels, escort criminals and terrorists across our border. It's time to stand up. So I'm running for the United States Senate. Stand with me. I'm Jason Walton, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Jason Walton for Senate.
Ah, the life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi, or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Traffic and weather together, again brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Hey, Len Thomas.
Hey, Tim, it's that crash in Draper is still there. Northbound I-15 to 123rd South. Right lane is closed, but traffic is picking up just a bit below speeds from the point of the mountain. Also, a short stretch of slower traffic that's coming in either direction on I-15 to the on-ramps to join eastbound I-80 in South Salt Lake. Not seeing what's causing that. We'll look it up. We'll try and find it. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventive care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. I'm Len Thomas in the KSL Traffic Center.
Going to look for a high today of 55 degrees, warming to 60 tomorrow, 61 on Friday, and then look at Saturday, 77 degrees in the forecast. Rain moving in on Sunday that's going to cool things off. Right now, it's partly cloudy out there and 48 degrees. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, I'm Tim Hughes. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
I think it's fair at this point to go back in time just a couple of weeks, Dave, and talk about what led up or what preceded, what came before these series of bomb threats that emptied out Mount Nebo Middle School time and time again, 3 times in the last 2 weeks. And it's been alleged by Megyn Kelly. She's a former Fox News host and former NBC News host on Facebook. And it's since been fact-checked. And I also saw an excerpt of this on her podcast as well, talking about schools allow here's the quote, the claim on Facebook: school allows students to be terrorized by colleagues who identify as furries. And then this claim that Kelly made was fact-checked, that the Utah Middle School was allowing students to be terrorized by furries. And I'm like, I'm not really familiar with his furry claim. I don't really know what this is all about, but apparently there's some students who participated in a walkout in mid-April, just a couple of weeks ago, at that same school, had made some unverified and disputed claims that other students, who they said were identifying as furries, had bitten or scratched them. And then the district had to absolutely put the brakes on this rumor that was circulating, and I think she also talked about it on her podcast and identified the school. And the district spokesperson came out and said the school has absolutely no incidents of biting, licking, costumes, or animal behavior, and that the district had policies to prevent harassment and bullying. So it was fact-checked by the Poynter Institute. This claim was actually fact-checked by the Poynter Institute, and they said, we found no clear evidence that any students at the school identified as furries. And then come the series of bomb threats. So just kind of walking this back to maybe how this whole thing started. We don't know for sure. But my goodness, if every single time a school was, talked about on a podcast or something that they did, and then it turned into a series of bomb threats, that sure starts costing taxpayers a lot of money. And I hope, I don't know if Kelly's retracted that or not, or announced that the school has made, different claims.
KSL TV has done some good stuff. You can find it on their website where they talk to some families. They talked to one girl, and she and her friends would wear masks, but they were animal masks. and they said they were doing it for fun or they thought it was cute.
They hadn't bitten or licked anybody?
But it does say in the KSL article I'm just reading right now that there was video that was being shared as quote unquote proof of furries. Shows a girl in a yellow shirt barking at other students. So I don't know if it was one of those small little things that was blown out of proportion. Obviously, the Pointer Institute challenges, that it was that big of a problem that they were biting kids or biting classmates. But either way, what it has done is this political nature, this comment has led, it seems, to some almost bullying of this school. These bomb threats are coming in, and then the school goes into panic mode, and they evacuate everyone. They call the cops, and they come in, and they start clearing rooms, trying to make sure everything's safe. Very disruptive, very disruptive. And I think we need to re-examine, do we take every single threat as seriously as possible? Do we take it, are we shutting down schools until we can do a thorough check every time?
This one stands out to me as an obvious. You have something go viral like that, like those claims, and then within, very short order, you start getting bomb threats. So to me, this seems like it's obvious. They're just playing adults. They're playing whatever it is, the email system, the schools getting the emails, or even if the calls are coming into 911 or whatever the case may be, they're just playing adults. I wish we could think through this a little more clearly and say it's probably related to that. The problem is, Dave, we play the what if game all the time, and we lean into even though the odds don't have it that it's a real threat, we have just become accustomed to doing things the same way over and over again. So you and I started to examine, hey, is this a moment where we need to rethink all of these threats that are coming in? Because our kids could spend days out on the lawn waiting to get back into school.
We take calculated risks all the time. Every time you get in a car, you are taking a risk, but we think that's worth it, right? I think this similar approach needs to happen with schools. We need to say, if we're going to evacuate and shut down the school or disrupt the school day, is this a credible threat? And I came across this report from the Department of Justice, and they were talking specifically about bomb threats and how seriously you should take them. And they said, in general, and this is not really surprising to anybody, but most bomb threats, the vast majority of bomb threats are just that. They're just hoaxes. But they said, we notice if there is a place and time specified, description of the bomb that is being used, specific targets, and a reason given, when those 4 criteria are met, that's where they say, this is one you need to take more seriously. Again, place and time, description of the bomb, specific targets, and a reason given.
Yeah. This listener on our text line says, it's traumatic for little kids. That I worked in an elementary school and kiddos were panicked during the drills. My daughter said that she was at the Spanish Fork High during that active shooter, that hoax. That was last May. So traumatic for all the kids. One kid didn't hear the lockdown, was going to do some work in the auditorium. He was taken down and searched by an armed policeman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I don't think we can minimize that.
No, it's terrible. I mean, this allegation is the kid had a gun to his head until they realized the situation. Talk about trauma. We haven't verified that, but that's what one of our independently verified that, but that's one of our listeners just texted in.
And one thing that what we've learned is rumors start just running rampant. The one down in Spanish Fork, it's like, oh, yeah, we heard guns fired. We had a description of the quote-unquote suspect down at Southern Utah University where, like, long hair, green hat. Yeah, very specific thought that we heard shots fired in the science building. All of these rumors were coming out, and the panic is happening. So how dangerous is that when a false suspect is out there? Who knows who's going to engage the random student that just was walking down the road?
You know what I hope? I hope that the Payson Police Department and Nebo School District develop some sort of a plan that throws, our current situation and our current revolving door of evacuations on its ear. They start anew. And we hear something fresh and new and a new idea at 1 o'clock this afternoon when they hold that news conference. We know that Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news will be all over their announcement. But it sounds to me like they've given us a little bit of an indication that they're going to do things differently to keep kids in school. So good for them. I can't wait to hear what that is. We'll probably tackle that again tomorrow morning. Walmart shuttering its healthcare clinics everywhere. That's out of the healthcare business. I mean, you might be like, I didn't even know they had it. They were getting into the healthcare business, which I thought is great. Well, I'm disappointed with this move, and I'll tell you why next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
That's right, it's me again, and I'm at J&J Garden Center in Layton, the best place to shop for Mother's Day, where they have something special for every mom, and of course at a special price. Right now, all hanging baskets are 20% off, all flats of flowering bedding plants are just $22.98, and all 4.5-inch geraniums are 20% off too. That's incredible. J&J Garden Center definitely has the best products at the best price, so give Mom something special this Mother's Day with a special purchase from J&J Garden Center in Layton. Take the Layton Parkway exit, Main Street to Gentile, then west 2 miles. You've got to see it to believe it. You really do.
Country grown to your home, J&J Garden Center.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
Hey there, you and aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
I just elevated my checking account with Utah Community Credit Union. Tim, I'm so blown away at what I get with my elevated checking account at UCCU. I get so many benefits. I get cell phone protection and roadside assistance. The one that blows me away the most is telehealth. I actually get zero copay telehealth with my checking account from UCCU.
Did you know you also get a 0.25% loan discount? It's one of the many things. And if you like to travel or you're on the road quite a bit, a free ATM nationwide. 30,000 ATM locations that you can use while you're out.
Utah basketball star Walker Kessler and Utah Community Credit Union have come together to announce this brand new elevated checking account with more benefits, more savings, more online protections than ever before.
Yeah, there's even something for dark web monitoring, which I have never heard of before, but you can find out more by just going to uccu.com.
And open an elevated checking account online or stop by any branch.
UCCU, you're going to love where you bank.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hey, if you haven't signed up for the 3 Things You Need to Know newsletter, do it right now. So just text the word inbox to 57500, inbox to 57500, and here's what you're going to get. It's a totally free, up-to-date newsletter every day, straight to your inbox of the 3 most important stories that KSL News Radio and KSL 5 Television are working on. So again, inbox to 57500.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, the University of Utah says the few protesters against the Israel-Hamas war who were arrested are not students, but the demonstration was peaceful as opposed to other protests on campuses across the country. Second, the Slam Dance Film Festival is moving to Los Angeles. The After Hours Festival, typically more raw and showcases innovative filmmaking during the same time frame as the Sundance Film Festival, which is also looking to be moving away from Utah. And third, Walmart closing all of its healthcare clinics across the country. The company says rising costs are keeping it from making a profit. We're going to look for a high today of 55 degrees with all that sunshine, and right now it's 46 downtown. Let's get you back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
David Dujanovic.
Well, Tim Hughes just stealing a little bit of our thunder, actually giving us a preview of what we're going to be talking about, and that is this Walmart shuttering its healthcare clinics everywhere. I'm disappointed in this move. You're probably like, I didn't even know they had a healthcare clinic, Deb. But I thought they were just getting their legs under them, Dave. They were starting to open these clinics. There's more than 50 of them all over the nation. And I thought they're going to give the regular doctor's office a run for their money. This is awesome news.
I need a headlamp, Walmart. I need some new tires, Walmart. Glasses, aloe vera, and healthcare, and some apples. I mean, at some point,
it's perfect.
You have to draw a line and say, you know what?
No.
Maybe we're not everything to everybody.
Amazon is. Amazon is. You can get your scripts off Amazon now, right? I mean, you can just get about everything off of Amazon. I mean, maybe you can't get a doctor to show up at your house, but I love that Walmart was getting into the healthcare business, because you can't go anywhere in this country without running into a Walmart. This is just so convenient. It's also, if y'all haven't noticed, it's really hard to make a doctor's appointment now. It's easy to pick up the phone and call. What's really hard about it is getting something within the next 2 weeks.
I've got a sucking chest wound. We'll see you in July.
Who wants to go to the emergency room for the less than emergent care that you need? And I do like the fact that they've got what are those called? Insta Health. What are those places called? You told me, reminded me what they're called.
The telehealth or the
no,
Instacares?
Instacares. Thank you.
Okay.
But there's just not enough of those. Not enough of those. So I liked the idea that Walmart was trying something new, branching out into healthcare. I've seen at some of the Walmarts I shop at that they also do veterinarian care. And I was like, okay, that's awesome.
I miss the vet care. I
didn't ever take Riley dog there before he passed away, because I knew where things were going with him. But the Walmart out by my house offers vet care. Now, they don't necessarily do everything, but they're getting out of the healthcare business for humans. I'm disappointed in this. I thought this would be a great way to diversify healthcare in this country. I like when companies come at us with new plans. I think Healthcare is one of the biggest issues, and the costs are one of the biggest issues facing American and Utah families. And I thought any way we could get to a doctor faster. Maybe there's a menu up there where you can pick from the different services you want. It's cheaper. Maybe people who don't have health care can do it the cash way instead of going through their health care plan that they don't have. I loved it. I'm super disappointed. How do you feel?
Okay, so I have a mantra, a little something that I live by, and I think this is very applicable. Never order seafood at a fast food joint. Like, never order seafood at a fast food joint. Why don't you order seafood at a fast food joint? You know it's not going to turn out well for you. The filet of fish has never turned out well for anybody. You let the fast food guys do what the fast food guys do. Let them own that lane. If you need a fast, dry, tasteless hamburger, that is where you go.
You know what's so weird about you saying this, so Dave, is that you told us in the morning meeting this morning, and Caitlin Johnston is our witness, our producer, that you get your eyes checked at Walmart.
I do get my glasses there.
So good news for you.
My optometrist.
Let's see.
Ophthalmologist. I can't remember which one he is.
So how do you like them apples now?
Now you go. You go for your eye care.
You get your tires, you get your headlamp, you get your apples, you get your vision checked at Walmart. They're going to still keep the vision centers open. And, of course, the pharmacy's going to stay open. But Caitlin Johnston coming at us with the hot take. Small-town girl turned big-time lead producer on the Dave and Dujanovic show. You grew up in Price, Utah. And what was the Walmart like in Price?
Well, I mean, the Walmart Health has only been around for, I think, 5 years is what I read. But I just think the whole one-stop shop of Walmart, rural communities need that because you don't have every single option on the street that you're passing by every day. Like, I think there's maybe 4 doctors that I can think of off the top of my head in Price, where
yikes.
here it's, a plethora. You've got the hospital, which is overflowing with the emergency room and stuff like that. I think there's an Instacare or urgent care something there, but same thing. You're waiting for hours at those regardless of where you are.
That's a great point.
But so I don't know about exactly how used the health part of it was, but I could see it as, if somebody needed it, and if it is a more affordable option, I'm not sure on all those details. People probably used it. I'm sure people get their eyes checked there because I know there's maybe 1 or 2 eye doctors there. But yeah, when I think of Walmart, it's like, oh, if I'm in a town that has a Walmart, I think I'm going to be set for my weekend or whatever.
I think that brings up a great point. It's something that we don't think about when we live in bustling towns like Salt Lake City, or we're living along the Wasatch Front. We have a ton of options, but you get out into the rural areas, and Walmart is the one-stop shop for everything.
And often, like when I got my glasses and stuff, I would always come up here and get them fitted.
My goodness.
I mean, we had an eye doctor there, and now you can order things online and like match them to your picture and stuff, so it makes it a lot easier. But I would always come up here to go look at glasses. You would come up here to get those things done. My family comes up here to get their hair done sometimes because of just resources, or just go to doctor's appointments up here because the resources just aren't always there. It's there to an extent, but certain needs are not met. Not saying Walmart is going to satisfy everything, and maybe they shouldn't be. I don't know, but if it's a needed resource, I can see why it could be beneficial.
I'm just saying, if I have a hernia and I need to get checked, I'm not sure I'm rolling into the Walmart parking lot thinking, hey, doc, you got a minute?
But if it's your only option and you can get one opinion, they can send you somewhere else. But
send you to the dairy aisle.
Well, I'm sure this is a a basic clinic. You're not going in there for brain surgery,
I don't think
right?
it's to that extent.
But a lot of times that's what we need most. I mean, we just need.
I got the
just
sniffles.
Need to calm your anxiety a little bit of like, hey, I have this boo-boo. Can you please help? And they'll, you don't need to go to the emergency room and waste all your money.
And the fact that they do have a pharmacy on location, like that's incredibly helpful. Again, one-stop shopping.
Yeah.
Headlamps and Oxy.
Caitlin Johnston, our amazing producer, swooping in from a take we hadn't thought about because we don't live in a small town. But you grew up in Price. I'm glad you got out.
I mean, I still like it there.
Just teasing.
But there's more here.
Hopefully, Mom is not listening. I'm glad you're here with us, Caitlin. Straight ahead, having children is becoming a bit passé here in America, and even in Utah, we've seen the number of kids per household drop. Jay Evenson with the Deseret News in to argue that's a bad move? He's up next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top story this hour. A false bomb threat led to an evacuation at a middle school in Payson. Jeremy Barnes with the Utah Department of Public Safety says authorities will always treat any threat seriously.
There is a lot of work that goes into trying to figure out who they are, trying to identify if it's a hoax threat or if it's a substantial threat. And you have to treat those threats as if they are legitimate.
Parents and students are frustrated over the threats. The school district is planning to address the issue in a news conference this afternoon. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. New York City police moved into the Columbia University campus and arrested more than 300 protesters, many of whom had occupied a building on campus. Mayor Eric Adams pledged to protect the city from what he called a global influence to radicalize young people.
There's nothing peaceful about barricading buildings, destroying property, or dismantling security cameras.
Here in Utah, demonstrators went from President's Circle at the U down to the Salt Lake County Jail to demand the release of a protester who had been arrested. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day 88 points, while the NASDAQ is down 99. And it looks like we're going to have some cool temperatures for the next several days. That's next. KSL News Time 10:01.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Odds are, if you have a 401k, it's set up with your payroll provider or an insurance company. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and if you're using your payroll provider or an insurance company for your 401k, the employer may be overpaying for the plan, the employees may have blasé investment options, and those blasé investment options may cost more than they should. Not with Trajan Wealth. Call us today, 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Services offered through a third-party partner.
Guys, are you ready to give up because you think you've tried everything and you're still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Salt Lake City has local medical providers that offer low T and ED treatments customized to each patient's unique physical makeup. By working with a specialized compounding lab, personalized treatments are guaranteed, even when generic pills and supplements haven't worked. It all starts with your free comprehensive exam and consultation. Availability is limited. Book today, and for this month only, Revive offers qualified patients a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. The experts at Revive Men's Health Salt Lake City will work to provide the right treatment for you so you can show up as the best you in all aspects of your life. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or send them a private message at revivemenshealth.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
The life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi, or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Len Thomas.
Thank you, Dan. Traffic moving well into this blue sky day. A bit cool. The crash, southbound I-15 at 123rd South and Draper, still residing over there with 4 vehicles. Now, this is kind of in the Gore area between the on-ramp and the main flow. Minor slowing past this. Further north, a bit of slowing from Midvale past the South Interchange to about 54th South in Murray. Wasatch Front business and property managers. GoPave Utah provides all asphalt repairs for your parking. For patching and paving along the Wasatch Front, contact GoPave Utah, gopaveutah.com. I'm Len Thomas in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our high today will only get to 55 degrees. Tomorrow and Friday, only the low 60s. Then Saturday, we'll see 77 and a storm moves in on Sunday. 48 degrees, partly cloudy right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
America's in a baby crisis. We're not having enough babies to replace the population. Jay Evenson in with us in-house from the Desert News. He's the opinion editor at the Desert News, and one of his latest opinions entitled Beware of a Falling Population, and he's going to tell us why this is scary.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Jay. There's a couple different elements to this. There's both a social element to it, and then there's like a practical economic element to this argument about having enough kids or having kids in general. And let's talk a little bit about that. What are some of the trends? Why are people not having as many kids?
Really good question, and there's not a lot of really good answers to that because it used to follow the economy. When times were good, people would have more children. When times were bad, the birth rate would drop. You can argue that with almost every indicator except maybe inflation, we're in some pretty good economic times. We've come out of the pandemic, and yet our birth rate is not following that trend anymore.
You write in your editorial piece, as the Desert News reported last week, so you're using your own newspaper's stats. Sure. Of course you are. The nation's fertility rate reached an all-time low in 2023.
1.62 children. Yes, and I believe that was a CDC report. And experts consider 2.1 per woman in baby carrying age, whatever that is, 18 to or 15 to, I don't know what the outer limit is necessary for a replacement rate. And we've been below replacement for a while now. And it's not just an American thing. This is happening worldwide in every industrialized nation and in some that used to be considered third world countries.
I think some of it, and Debbie, I've got a little nugget of audio that I want to play. I think a lot of this is social and cultural. To your point, typically in the history, when times are good, we have more kids. When we don't, that's a very economical way to look at it. But I think socially and culturally, we're looking at kids in a different way. And there's a new term out there. I don't know if you've ever heard of this term, folks, but have you ever heard of a DINK? D-I-N-K. If you're on social media, you can type in DINK. It stands for double income, no kids. So it's people that are professing, to have cracked the code, have solved the problems of life and how to have fun. And this was a little video that from one of the dinks.
Why is nobody talking about being dinks? Well, I'm freshly married and I'm going to talk about it. Here's our life as dinks in our early 30s. No shocker here, folks. Today we went to Costco. We don't have kids to feed, but we got lots of money to spend on goodies. Brian always checks out while I get a box, and then I sit here and look cute. Here's the haul, and our total was $252. The register game at Costco never gets old. You cannot tell me that grocery shopping and a fresh slice of Costco pizza isn't a good date night.
So all right, so you get to have a date night at Costco. That's the big win. I think we've done a terrible job of letting young kids know, newly married folks, the kids are awesome, that they are better than a slice of pizza at Costco for a date night. And I think we focus very easily on how expensive kids are, how hard it's going to be for them, what the future prospects look like. And it feels to me like we are consciously making a decision not to have kids.
Jay, are there other countries that are coming up with some solutions to this? Because I don't think we've come up to any. To speaking to Dave's point, I don't think we've come up with any really great solutions to incentivize these dinks to have kids.
Other countries are coming up with ideas that they turn out not to be solutions. I think Denmark did some public service announcements and some commercials where they had a grandmother trying to undress her daughter and boyfriend and trying to get them to be more intimate, which was really weird.
Yeah,
it didn't work.
Of course not.
Russia has something called the Day of Conception. And this is like a national holiday. It's September 12th, and everyone gets off work, and the idea is that they're supposed to conceive. And those who have a baby the closest to June 12th of the next year get all kinds of prizes. You can get an SUV, anything down to like a toaster.
Well, I mean, okay, you didn't tell me that until just now. If there's an SUV in the works.
Well, that hasn't worked either.
Of course not.
But China and Russia really understand that they're in a crisis. And other countries, Japan, for example, there are small towns in Japan that are just drying up because people aren't having kids. We don't see that here yet, but, there are all kinds of problems that will happen if we continue this trend. You'll have homes that sit vacant, home prices will drop, businesses will struggle, and then they'll close. Think of how hard it is already to think about retiring the national debt and how much harder that will be if we have fewer taxpayers. How do we keep Social Security going when there's no one there to provide for this huge amount of retirees in the country and so few workers? How do we keep the military going? There's a whole bunch of questions that come out of this.
So in order to make this happen, as you both know, women have to be on board. 100%. And having been through more than a couple of pregnancies, it's tough on our bodies. It's tough on our bodies. And I would just say, in my experience as a mom, I did the majority of you wake up in the middle of the night and they're not standing next to dad, they're like, Mommy, I don't feel well, so, and I loved that, but I was also wandering through life completely exhausted for about 15 years, completely exhausted.
Yeah.
So I think, we just can't overcome the fact that it's women who have to be the ones to get pregnant and give birth. And it is, I did not have, especially with my first, I did not have a good go of it health-wise. I mean, the baby, Lizzie was having troubles in there, and I was having all kinds of troubles. And I'm not trying to, I know there are a ton of my friends who romanticized this thing for me, that pregnancy is so perfect and you're just going to love it. And I mean, I don't know, I gained 100 pounds and had high blood pressure,
Right.
And it's a struggle. I'm not trying to
no, this is
rain
why,
on your parade over there.
No, it's not my parade, but this is why it's such a difficult needle to thread, because there are those considerations. There are social considerations. We've come a long way in terms of what we expect or what women can accomplish in their place in the workforce, and we've come away from that 1950s ideal of the nuclear family and the mother stays home, and yet we're facing this crisis, and we need to be aware of it, and we need to try to. I don't know what you do. Incentives don't seem to work. There seems to be a cultural shift that we need to somehow change, and change in a very sensitive way.
I think the way we talk about kids is really damaging. I think we talk about the stress and the burden that they are, and it's hard to say, well, you haven't experienced it. How do you describe holding your brand new baby? Or, cuddling them, or watching them get the game-winning hit, or score well on a test, or develop into that person. It's hard to properly express that if you've never experienced it. And the rewards of being a parent and having children, even though they can be stressful sometimes, far outweigh any financial security that I could have. It's worth it. And I don't think we've done a great job selling kids to the younger generation.
Well, as the oldest person in this room,
I doubt that.
I think that's true. I can tell you that the part we usually think about, the screaming infant and that type of thing, is such a short period of time. There is nothing more rewarding than having adult children who share your likes and interests. When there's a big major news story breaking, I can count the seconds. My kids will start texting me, and we'll start sharing information on it.
That's good.
It's very rewarding and very fulfilling.
That's awesome, Jay. Well, we always appreciate your perspective, and Dave and I are going to continue to duke it out in a moment. Because I have 3 reasons why I think we're in this baby crisis. I've just cited one of them, and I've got 3 more on top of that. But Jay Evenson, always great stuff in the Deseret News. Read Jay's opinions at Deseret.com. The latest one, beware of a falling population.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
It's that time of year. The Mother's Day Spring Expo at the Spanish Fork Fairgrounds is May 10th and 11th.
And admission is free.
Don't miss over 100 vendors with crafts, clothing, jewelry, children's books, educational toys, t-shirts, family games, Love Me food truck, and more.
Hi, this is Emily announcing that we still have space for a few more vendors. Go to rosecourtevents.com to apply. The Mother's Day Spring Expo at the Spanish Fork Fairgrounds.
When do we go?
May 10th and 11th.
For the right repair and the right paint, the right choice is manufacturer-certified Martins Collision Repair. Hi, I'm Tiago Martins. Many shops have ASC and ICAR-certified technicians, but few have certifications by General Motors, Nissan, Chrysler, Hyundai, Jeep, and many others, making Martins your right choice. Online at martinscollision.com, on State Street in Orem and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martins Collision Repair.
Protests over the Israel-Hamas war.
Police cleared a group of protesters, and things got tense at times.
Come to Salt Lake City.
Free speech is protected, but encampments on campus grounds are not.
Police given the green light to clear anyone out who refused to leave.
The University of Utah is scheduled to hold commencement this Thursday.
Will protesters interrupt graduation ceremonies? Hear the latest developments from Columbia to the U of U.
This is the cops spitting this thing up.
Crack down, stop it before it starts.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Advertising used to be simple. Your options were radio, TV, newspaper, and let's not forget the yellow pages. Now it seems like a tidal wave of options. Podcast, cable TV, streaming, OTT, CTV, audio networks, smart speakers. On top of that, you need digital marketing for your website along with SEM, SEO, display, video, YouTube, email, and all the social media platforms. Look, you're the expert in your business. Wouldn't it be nice to have an expert to market you? We are Bonneville Salt Lake, the local marketing and media company you know and trust. We reach customers across all digital and social platforms and have the reach of traditional advertising available as well. We find your customer anytime, any place, anywhere on any device here in Utah or anywhere in the world. We work to optimize your results with our in-house local team of experts, providing you with qualified leads, not just impressions. Contact Stephanie Palmer at KSL for a free consultation, including a complete digital audit with no obligation or cost to you. Email spalmer@ksl.com. That's spalmer@ksl.com.
You've been trying to hold off, but you think it's time you might need a new roof? Best move you could make is to call the highest-rated roofing contractor in Utah. IWC Roofing has been working up there for 27 years. They offer the best warranty in the business, backed by Owens Corning. What's most amazing is they'll replace your entire roof in one day. Instead of Chuck with a truck showing up for a week of chaos and mayhem, you get professionals. IWC Roofing is in, they're out, and they power wash your driveway just to say thank you. They'll even send pictures from the roof so you know exactly what you're getting for your hard-earned money. Now, you think a highly skilled Owens Corning Platinum Certified contractor would charge more, but no. IWC offers a better price, and if you call now, they'll give you an extra $2,000 off your quote. $2,000 off. So call IWC Roofing for a free estimate, 801-232-5690, 232-5690, or visit IWCRoofingUtah.com.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you text the word inbox to 57500, you are going to get the 3 Things You Need to Know newsletter. KSL TV, KSL News Radio have teamed together, and we pick the best 3 stories that you need to know. Get the top news of the day straight to your email by subscribing to KSL's 3 Things You Need to Know newsletter. Just text the word inbox to 57500.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, a middle school in Payson has been the target of a series of bomb threats. Second, police in New York moved in to clear a building on the Columbia University campus that had been occupied by protesters, more than 300 arrested. Third, here in Utah, demonstrators went from the U of U campus to the Salt Lake County Jail to demand the release of a protester who'd been arrested. 48 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
We just talked to Jay Evenson about the baby crisis in America. We know the same thing is happening here in Utah. We're just not having as many babies. And I've got 3 reasons why I think this is happening. And so Dave and I are we'll duke it out. Why do you think this is happening? Let's start with you.
I think it's a greedy thing.
A greedy thing.
I think we see how expensive kids are. We want to travel more. We want to go to nicer restaurants. Mm-hmm. We want a bigger house. We want nicer cars. And we're sacrificing having kids or more kids so that we can have more stuff.
What's it cost? About $11,000, $12,000 a year per child right now?
That's a chunk.
I just think it's not a greed thing. I think it's just an affordability thing. That's my first take. It's an affordability thing. We're not being greedy so we can travel. We're just trying to survive. So many families living paycheck to paycheck. It's overwhelming. Inflation's got us. But this has been happening for years where housing prices have been going through the roof. I mean, this isn't just a Biden problem. Housing prices have been going through the roof for quite some time. It's just simply unaffordable to buy a 3-bedroom house these days, Dave. So I think that is problem number 1. It's not that people want to travel more. It's that they can't even afford to make it to the next paycheck. They're counting pennies to get there. So they're thinking, we have to have a serious conversation about money before we start bringing another mouth to feed up to the table.
One of my favorite games to play is I drive, and I always have driven we'll call it affordable vehicles. Very affordable vehicles. I cannot tell you how many 22-year-olds drive a car that is far nicer than mine. Far nicer than mine. And I think, what in the world? How can you afford that thing? It's because they value that. They want to have the nice car. And if you look in everybody's lives, we spend a lot of money on subscriptions and gym memberships and going out to eat and having nice cars. I'm not saying that we're not pinching pennies, but we live a pretty good life, and that comes at a sacrifice. You can't have kids if you're spending it all on Hulu subscriptions.
This is not one of my 3, but I want to backtrack to when we were talking to Jay Evenson of the Desert News, who wrote an opinion about this, and I said, it's hard on women's bodies.
For sure.
We aren't baby-making machines, but I think we've been perceived as baby-making machines for decades. And it's hard on women's bodies. My first pregnancy was not a positive experience. While some of my friends made it look very amazing and romantic, and they stayed super skinny, and their baby bump was hardly noticeable, old Debbie over here was packing on 100 pounds, had high blood pressure. had problems with the placenta where that was starting to die off. And I was going in for ultrasounds every single day just to make sure Lizzie was staying healthy. And then the delivery was, yes, I'm a hero, 14 hours. 14 hours of labor, 12 of that, actually maybe 13 of that, without an epidural. Without an epidural. And to make matters even more painful, I was induced. And if you've ever been induced, you know that those labor pains
turbocharge it
can send you through the roof, where you're using all of the breathing techniques that you've saved up for the last 9 months. So that was my take when we were talking to Jay. I think there's been this perception is we want to talk about all the great things, but we want to also ignore how difficult this is on women.
Sure.
And I recently saw, not to get super dark, but a Facebook post from one of my Facebook friends. His daughter-in-law passed away during childbirth. Passed away, young, healthy, had other children, and then is on the delivery table, and they just could not save her. They could not save her.
And 150 years ago, Debbie, that was so common. Like, we would lose women all the time. Fortunately, modern technology, medicine has made that far more the aberration. But yeah, that used to be standard. Women would die in childbirth all the time.
Social media has connected us. I'm not blaming the social media for this. We blame social media for everything else, but we see how exhausted, we talk about now how exhausted we are as parents. So that's my second take, is that it takes a physical toll on us, not just during childbirth, and certainly for the dad too, when you're bringing a baby home. We got to take care of that. I'm sorry. Is that me? There we go. It might be me. Sorry, guys. It's physical toll. You stop going to the gym. You pointed this out. There's no alone time. You're never going to use the bathroom for years without somebody knocking at the door, which I understand. I used to keep the bathroom door open. That's how it is. Of course I didn't, There's no free time. Date nights are kind of pushed to the side. Can't afford a babysitter. So there's that. So I think it takes that physical toll, and you're sleepwalking through a good chunk of that.
Yeah, I think it's very easy, because it is so hard, to just remember that. Because everything you just listed, Debbie, I'm like, check, yep, I remember that. But do you also remember sitting in your living room and having the 4-year-old just run around, and they are the entertainment? They're just so funny. They're running around, they're playing games, they're being silly, and they're just so entertaining. But because it was so difficult physically, financially, waking up in the middle of the night with sick kids, I think it outweighs and unfairly weighs the experience. Those, I can probably count, a dozen times where I actually got awakened to help clean up a sick kid.
A dozen times?
It's not that much. over 17, 18 years?
Okay, Dad, a dozen times? Mine's like 1,200 times. When they were sick with
feeding your kids?
When they were sick with a sore throat, they didn't go to Dad's side of the bed. It was tap, 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 Mommy. Oh, I was always awake with my kids. That wasn't what I was feeding them. It's just there's a rotation of 3, and they rotate through the sore throat and the strep throat and all the other stuff a dozen times.
I'm just saying,
wow,
those
you had
miserable nights, like the ones where you're just dragging the next day. I just haven't had that many.
Oh, good. That's a difference maybe between moms and dads. I don't know. That was not my experience at all. So, the final thing is we do a really good job about talking about really cute, bouncy babies. We do a horrible job warning about the train wreck teen years. Now, your little kids are just so amazing, right? I mean, none of your teenagers are doing anything that you're aware of to cause problems and potentially, cost mom and dad a ton of money. But, we don't talk about, the driving years and the fact that you never, ever, ever stop worrying about your child, even when they're an adult. That never goes away, nor should it. But these are all of the reasons why I think as the world becomes a smaller and smaller place, Dave, with social media, that we're starting to share this, that people of the younger generation are starting to recognize This is an all-in commitment, and am I ready to make this commitment? For, with dogs, it's like a 13 or 15-year commitment. With kiddos, that is a lifetime commitment. But you say it's worth it.
Absolutely. I'm all in on kids. I love kids. I know you love your kids too. I mean, I'm not saying that at all. Of course you do.
That's not my point at all.
But no. But I think we do a terrible job of pointing out all the struggles and the difficulties that kids are and can be. And to me, it's a drop in the bucket. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but the joy and the love that we have, it's not even close. You can't compare it to anything else. There's not a trip you will take in the world that compares to having kids.
Yeah. Well, I'm still stuck on the 12 times I woke up in the middle of the night in 17 years. I'm like, what? That's incredible. I want to be a dad when I grow up. Okay, straight ahead. If you're thinking about taking a trip this summer, and you got some luggage to load on an airline, Matt Gephardt, straight ahead, breaking down vacation inflation buster ideas. That's next.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top local story this hour. About 200 people turned out for a second day of protests at the University of Utah last night. The school says the demonstrations stayed peaceful, only lasted a couple of hours. The group then moved to the Salt Lake County Jail after one person was arrested for their alleged actions on the first night of the protests. There's no word on whether another one is planned for tonight or not. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says she'll go ahead and trigger her motion to push House Speaker Mike Johnson out of his job.
He's winning poll after poll after poll because he's the only one fighting while Republicans in the House and Republicans in Washington continue to cave and be part of the uniparty.
Democrats say they'll block Greene's efforts to get rid of the Republican speaker. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average now up on the day 109 points, while the NASDAQ is down 49. And a KSL weather. Going to be a very cool first week of May. That's next. KSL News Time 10:32.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
One of the things we all plan in January is where I'm going to lose some weight. That's what I did. I just like the rest of you, but instead of trying to do it on my own, I reached out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss, and I said, hey, I think I'm ready for your program. What can you do for me? And they said, we have the secret to losing up to a pound of fat every day. And I thought, oh, that's crazy. And they said, yeah, many clients will lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two. Well, in 2 months, in 60 days, I lost 57 pounds, and I've been able to keep it off. And I did it without surgery, without injections, no point counting, no exercising, and no prepackaged meals. And I will say this, it has greatly improved my pickleball game. I'm moving a lot better on the court, folks. It's been fantastic. So if you're ready to lose some of that stubborn weight, go ahead and reach out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss. You'll get a free consultation. The website's the best way to get there, slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Looking for a secure retirement plan without market risk? Look no further. Lyle Boss, president of Boss Financial, specializes in no market risk retirement strategies with guarantees of principal, guaranteed growth, and lifelong income. Join Lyle right here each Saturday and Sunday for his Safe Money radio show and call him now at 855-355-SAFE for your complimentary customized Safe Money information kit and Safe Money book. Nothing but upside here at 855-355-SAFE.
When the weather warms up, it's like a stampede, except instead of dust stirred up by hundreds of hooves, it's a cascade of phone calls to Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Soon as the sun shines and the snow's gone, people want new windows and frames from Utah's #1 custom window maker, and the wait for installation grows longer. But right now, you can get near the front of the line by calling for a quote and get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more. That's on top of the incredible savings for the highest quality double pane windows and frames, any style, any color, so See, at Advanced Window Products, they actually build the windows here in Utah, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. There's no middleman, and they can pass the savings on to you. They even offer buy now, pay later. So get in before the wait grows longer and get the $2,500 off. Get your new windows this spring. Make the call. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Common Spirit Health has expert orthopedic care that gets you back at it and back to your best. Find skilled orthopedic physicians at Common Spirit locations who specialize in general orthopedics and repair of hips, knees, shoulders, and hands, so you can return to running races or chasing the grandkids. Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Orthopedic care with human kindness is here. Visit mountain.commonspirit.org.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Lynn Thomas.
Well, Dan, the freeways are bustling along at 10:35 in the morning on the 1st of May. I-15 looking pretty good from Spanish Fork to Pioneer Crossing. One slow spot from South Salt Lake to the 13th South off-ramp in downtown Salt Lake City. Also looking pretty good as you make your way from Brigham City to the Salt Lake City downtown ramps. I-80's a nice drive eastbound to Evanston or from the West Desert to Wendover past the Big Lake to the airport. With IFA's Weed and Feed, you'll grow strong, healthy, dark green turf without a weed in sight. It's the ultimate lawn owner power move. I'm Len Thomas in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our high today will only reach 55 degrees. Tomorrow and Friday into the low 60s, then 77 on Saturday. But a storm moves in on Sunday. And right now we're at 48 degrees with sunny skies. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Let's talk about the 5 things you need to know about if you're planning to fly a budget airline for vacation this summer. And right now, Dave, I thought I'm going to check out how much it is to fly Frontier. Fly Frontier Airlines. I'm going to book a trip somewhere to anywhere USA from Salt Lake City in May. I'm going to leave you for a week. And I got on the Frontier website when you walked off to go get a mouthful of peanuts there. And I am stuck in this cycle of having to sign up for some $99 a year pad. So I thought, oh, good, I scored this great deal for 2 round-trip tickets to Austin, Texas for under $300. This is awesome. And now I cannot get out of this loop they've got me in to fork over $99. So I want to talk about what you need to know about flying with a budget airline before you book the flight, because Dave has firsthand experience.
Okay, so some of the budget airlines that we have here in Utah: Breeze, Spirit,
Allegiant,
Freeze, or Frontier. I'm just mixing them all together.
Febreze.
It smells great on the airline. So the budget airlines, they are so much cheaper. If you have some flexibility and you can travel, they are a quarter of the cost, a third of the cost of round-trip airfares in many cases. I told you I spent $150 round-trip to go down to Phoenix a couple months ago. Had I gone on a budget airline, $50 round-trip.
That's insane.
That's insane.
You had to think that was too good to be true offers.
I thought it was one way. There's no way.
I would have thought that's going to get me from, Provo to St. George. What's the trick? Or how many airports do I need to have layovers at before they get me there?
But the parking is $97 a day, right? I thought there was some catch here.
You're right.
But sure enough, some of these budget airlines have these unbelievable deals. And there is a ginormous, wait a second. So I've flown on budget the last couple times I've flown. Every single step of the way, they try to upcharge you and upsell you on something. Mm-hmm. Hey, you can't sit together unless you pay an additional fee, because I bought 2 tickets. Otherwise, we're going to separate you on the plane. And they absolutely do. They separate you on the plane. If you want to sit next to each other, you want to select your own seat, you have to pay for an upcharge. So, here's an extra $30. Okay, if you want to bring something other than a personal laptop bag, and that's basically what it is, like a small laptop bag, that is free. If you want to carry on, upcharge. If you want some actual luggage, upcharge. Every single thing you add is going to cost you. You want a Coke? It's going to cost you. If you want a bag of peanuts, it's going to cost you. And they will do this, exactly what you went through. Every time you get to a computer, they're like, do you want an upgrade? You want to do this? You want to add that? And they nickel and dime you a million different ways until you're paying, full price, so to speak.
Okay, let me get my head wrapped around this. And this is how you fly?
Yeah. Because this is what I learned.
It's starting to make Delta seem like the magic carpet. I mean,
yeah,
that's
there's no
amazing.
Biscoff cookies on this flight.
I'm so glad somehow I got hooked into Delta years and years ago.
You get flight miles too.
You get flight miles, yeah.
The thing that I've learned though is as long as you can say no to every single thing.
Oh, you got willpower?
You have to have like iron will Iditarod power.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have the ability to say, I will travel basically in the clothes I'm wearing. And that's it. Yeah. We're not changing any clothes for the next 3 days.
I've got a hack for that. I've got a really good travel hack for that. Stay tuned for that. Dave's given me so little time to walk through this Motley Fool article. No, I love it. That's great. I love that you've had this amazing experience flying on the wing.
And it is.
It costs extra.
Half naked.
That'll be 19.
You can wear a T-shirt.
I can't unsee this.
And some pants.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it.
I'm not going to make it. Okay, Motley Fool, number one, almost everything costs extra. They've stole my thunder. But they did point out that, like, Spirit Airlines charges $25 at check-in counters for each boarding pass. They want to, if you need it printed out. To avoid this,
I didn't know there was a printing fee.
Well, it's expensive.
That's good, yeah.
Paper costs a lot of money. Stop killing trees. There's a way to do it.
Buy a smartphone.
Invest a little in technology. All right, we're not going to kill trees for you. It's going to cost you $25. Can you imagine if you have a family of 10 standing there trying to like $250 in printing boarding passes? I'm going to skip to number 3. They're likely to have more delays and cancellations. You experienced this when you were trying to book that really super duper cheap flight out of the Provo airport to Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And this wasn't a cancellation necessarily, but this was you could only go out on like a Wednesday after a leap year and return on Christmas.
Yeah.
You know? It's tricky.
They tried to bump us because we came in, we didn't have the assigned seats. They weren't going to bump us, but they were asking, where they say, hey, will someone give up their seats? Do you know how much they were offering per ticket to get me and my son on the flight? $1,200 per ticket.
That's a bargain. You want to get bumped then, don't you?
I'm turning to Austin. I'm like, hey, buddy, it's like $2,500, man. Can we be late to the concert? He's like, no, we can't be late to the concert.
Why does he have a vote? He's a child.
Well, we are going down there for the concert. You can't exactly be late for the concert.
See the Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay, you're good. That's a really good dad move.
I turned down $2,500. That was a tough one.
Oh, yeah, because then it's no longer a budget airlines, right? That's your bank account. I mean, I
think it was flight vouchers.
Flight vouchers. Yeah. Oh, still takes your whole family to Europe.
Yeah, we could
have
gone anywhere. Yeah,
you could have gone anywhere. That's a bad financial move.
That was a tough one.
That's the problem with having kids. See, we just talked about having kids. That's the problem with having kids. They cheat us out of everything, money-wise. Lines at airports can be long. We're talking about if you're planning on flying a budget airline, there's some downsides to it. You can save a lot of money, but you got to watch those hidden fees. You got to be aware of what you're clicking on. You got to make sure that you print out or you get a phone and you buy a phone and you actually have a QR code for check-in because they're charging money just for the printout of boarding passes. It says always check it online because at budget airlines, these airport lines can be longer. And it also says recommend, if possible, stick to a carry-on. Okay, so this is my life hack when flying. And I've just come to this realization within the last couple of years. Layer up. Especially my female friends. Layer up. You've got your stretch pants, on top of your black yoga pants. You're traveling with all one color. You've got I traveled to New York with 3 shirts on.
Stop it. Jeez. You're 119 degrees and running a fever.
I'm not done yet. Those planes get kind of chilly. 2 layers on and a sweatshirt tied around my waist. That's key. You got to do the sweatshirt around the waist. You got to put your purse. You got a tiny purse. You got to put that in the backpack because all you're bringing is a backpack, okay? You don't worry about makeup. That's ridiculous because you got to go through it. Just forget about the makeup. You're going to go no makeup mode for vacation. You get there, you buy some mascara. That's how it is. $5 to buy mascara. You're going to buy the cheap stuff. And then you're going to bring 1 pair of shoes. That's it. Look, if you're unless you're flying to a cornfield in Nebraska, you're going to have a store there if you get there and you don't have what you need. You don't need to take the whole closet anymore. I can fly about this country with less than a backpack full of stuff, and I could be gone for more than a week.
This layering.
So no.
Look, you're going to look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Do you know what
like
I
the
never
Michelin
have?
Man in all your clothes.
I never have lost luggage. Never,
That's
because
true.
I carry it. Never have lost luggage. I never have luggage fees, but I have the miles anyways, and I have the American Express card, so I never have luggage fees. So I eliminate this stress, and it is a beautiful thing, to quote former President Trump.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
With interest rates coming back down, I bet the real estate market will pick back up in 2024. We're already seeing that, Tim.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter how the market is doing when you have the right team. So if you're looking to sell your house, now you want to downsize or you need more space, you need the Stern team.
The Stern team has taught us, I can think of a handful of things that I would worry about if I was buying or selling, but there are 100 details that are involved in selling a home, and they have lots of people that are handling every detail so nothing falls through the cracks.
And they have so many different options. I mean, I worked with Cammie there at the Stern team, and she was awesome. But if you need an instant cash offer, you can do that. If you need to buy before you sell, you can do that. They have flexible fees.
They also have people that they represent that are looking to buy a home, so maybe they can make that perfect connection within the Stern team.
So don't put off selling your house or buying a house because you think the market isn't just right. The market is right with the Stern team.
Go online to sternteam.com or just Google the Stern team.
Join the KSL Greenhouse Show from 8 to 11 at Orbit Irrigation. That's at 845 North Overland Road in North Salt Lake, and learn all about the Gardena garden hose systems.
Everyone's house is different, but they're all the same in one way. We've all got those places where the Wi-Fi just won't go. For you, maybe it's the attic. For me, it's my basement. Well, if you had wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you could worry less about these dead spots. Finally. With wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you get fast speeds throughout your home, reliable connection in every room, and power for all of your devices, even when everyone is online. That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Get wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity for a reliable connection throughout your home. Now through June 21st, new customers can get started with gig speed internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and free Wi-Fi equipment included when you add unlimited mobile. $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com. Call 1-800-XFINITY. That's 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only. Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only. Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, protesters moved from the U of U campus down to the Salt Lake County Jail last night to try and get one of their number who'd been arrested released. Second, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says she'll go ahead with her motion to push House Speaker Mike Johnson out of his job. And third, police in Roy have taken a gun from a Roy High School student for the fourth time in 3 weeks. 48 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, we always appreciate the Stern team for helping us with our housing coverage.
Priced Out Housing. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
And if you're looking for an affordable house, you're not going to find it in Utah. We were not listed as one of the 6 cities that you can choose from, and I'm going to go over the list in just a moment. But what a shocker that the average home price, $550,000, $600,000, isn't considered affordable by Fox Business News.
Do you think we are a little uppity about where we want to live? I wonder, because I grew up in a kind of a small town, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I really didn't have to live downtown Salt Lake or live in a big city or live in New York or L.A. I've always liked kind of this smaller town feel.
I'm missing your point to this. What are you trying to say?
Are we too greedy about where we want to live? Like, isn't just home is where the heart is? Does it matter where you live?
So you'd be willing to move to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because that's one of the most affordable places to live in all of America.
Ooh, Pittsburgh would be great.
Is it? Why? Why do you like Pittsburgh?
It's a great sports town. Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh Pirates.
The
Pittsburgh Penguins.
Median home in Pittsburgh sells for $199,000.
Stop it. Are you serious?
No, I'm lying.
That's crazy.
Get me off the air. My facts are screwed up. I'm lying.
I think you missed a number there.
No, 100. My blind spot is seeing right to $199,000.
Can you imagine? Having a mortgage payment on $199,000
I'll tell you exactly what
home?
that is. 20% down. Including taxes and insurance, you'd pay about $1,400 a month at today's interest rates.
With the terrible interest rates that we have. That's incredible.
So you're willing to go to Pittsburgh. That's number one on the list.
Yeah,
I started
heartbeat.
right at the top because I thought you'd say no way.
Oh, no. I'm kind of digging it. Especially when you say $200,000 for a home, sign me up.
Would you be willing to live in Cleveland, Ohio?
Oh, Cleveland. Is LeBron playing for the Cavs or no LeBron? No LeBron?
I don't know.
Okay, we're going to pretend no
wheelhouse.
LeBron.
I don't.
Yeah, Cleveland. I thought you were going to be
a starstruck like that. I
thought you were going to be totally random cities I've never heard of.
No,
Cleveland?
No.
It's a big city.
Cleveland. I'm just looking at Pittsburgh. You only need to make only $60,000 a year to be able to qualify for that home in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's Cleveland is on the list. St. Louis, Missouri. No way. No way. I got a
You
job.
don't like the Arch?
I got a job offer in St. Louis as a reporter back in the 90s, and I turned it down.
St. Louis?
Yeah. I was working in Salt Lake City. I was like, what could be better than Salt Lake City? I'm not a big humidity lover. I don't lean into, 400% humidity with 110
Step
degrees outside.
and you're immediately sweating.
I remember I traveled to St. Louis for a conference in I think it was the 1980s. I'd never been introduced to the kind of humidity that St. Louis has. But boy, it felt like stepping into all of the wool blankets, and it's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. I couldn't live in St. Louis. Memphis, Tennessee. That's a curious one for me. Dave and I talking about the most affordable places to live in, the 6 most affordable cities. It says homes are now affordable in just 6 major American cities, which is a scary number, right? That's according to Fox Business News. Caught this morning. Posted this morning, May 1st at 6 a.m., right when I got up. And I'm like, we got to talk about this because we always, with the help of the Stern team, every Wednesday dive into housing topics. So Memphis, Tennessee, don't know a lot about it. Would you live there, Dave?
I'm with you. The only thing I know about Memphis, Tennessee is the Grizzlies play there. That's it.
Who?
Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, are they the hockey team?
Basketball.
Oh, yeah. Those Grizzlies.
Yeah. They're real.
They're unknown?
They're the Grizzlies.
They're new?
I mean,
are they new? I don't know about
newish.
this.
They came from Vancouver.
Like Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, so it's not Nashville, which is fine. I don't think.
How
I'd
close
live
is
in.
Nashville and Memphis? Anyone?
I don't know.
Anyone?
We'll ask.
Hands raised.
57500. Give us a text. What's the drive time between old Memphis and Nashville? Indianapolis, Indiana. Isn't Indiana one of the flyover states? Like you never drive through it.
Yeah, Indianapolis. I've been to Indianapolis.
What do you think of it?
It was great. It was fantastic. The Super Bowl was there the year that I went, and so I ran around. Great place, Indianapolis 500. It's a great. I don't even like racing, and I totally dig the Indianapolis 500.
What did you think? What did you think in general about like the nightlife? I know you're a big nightlife guy, or is it fun? I don't
Right.
know a lot about it. You know more about it than I do.
I don't know. I don't know about the nightlife, but it's a college town, professional, the Pacers. There are lots of sports stuff going on there. It's a big city.
Okay. Sounds cool.
These numbers sound incredible, Debbie.
$225,000 for a home right now on Realtor.com. The median listing home price is about 225 to, I'm seeing up to maybe some sites saying 260.
It's half price.
From what?
From here.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you sell your home, you could be carrying a mortgage and go and cash offer.
I could buy 2 homes.
You absolutely could.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's pretty incredible. I'm shocked at your numbers here. This is great news.
Okay, so Birmingham, Alabama is another one on the list. What do you think of Birmingham? I'm not fond of the South. I don't mind driving through it. I don't mind visiting it. I don't think I would want to live in the South. Birmingham, Alabama. I'm trying to look up the median home price, but it's got to be cheap. It's number 6 on the list. What do you think about going south? You said you're picky. You're too picky.
We lived in Texas for a number of years.
Oh, you did?
I was born in Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I like to claim that I'm technically a Texan, although I spent like 8 months there. But I was born in Texas. I can still be a Cowboys fan. Absolutely. I'm not a bandwagoner. So, yeah, I've loved the South. My family lived there. They lived in like Louisiana, so
$131,000.
In Birmingham, Alabama?
The average Birmingham home, according to Zillow, is valued at $131,000. It's down 4% over the past year. And they're on the market for at least, it looks like maybe 14 days is sort of the average there. So you got some time to get in and get a house. You know what I mean? Yeah, median sale price, according to Redfin, just fact-checking, $197,000. Yeah. Days on market, 41 days on average.
I'm shocked that there are still homes out there in major U.S. cities that are that affordable. What it really does for me is makes me realize how incredibly expensive homes are here in Utah and how overpriced we are.
Well, if you move to Birmingham and you can buy 3 homes, if you have a ton of equity in the home that you're living in now because you bought it, 20 years ago for hardly anything, and now it's worth over, $600,000. My goodness, it is worth thinking about.
Whenever we're talking about homes, it's because of the Stern team. The Stern team is awesome. You can learn your home's true value in just 30 seconds. Go ahead and visit thesternteam.com.
We know that Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's going to take on Mike Johnson, try to get him knocked out as Speaker.
This is basically a warning, and it's time for us to go through the process, take our time, and find a new Speaker of the House that will stand with Republicans.
But something's happening back in D.C. that rarely happens. Boyd's in with that story next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Police have again recovered a gun from a student from Roy High School. This is the fourth time in the last 3 weeks. Roy Police Sergeant Josh Taylor tells KSL TV they don't know where the guns are coming from, but they need people to keep on reporting anything suspicious that they see.
And that's the most important thing, is that people are willing to talk and not be scared of coming forward and talking with either staff or officers on scene.
Police say they found this gun on a teenage boy yesterday near the school, and they say he and the 3 others he was with were all students from Roy High. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Relaxed marijuana laws could help President Biden win over younger voters. He's calling for a reclassification of marijuana from a Schedule I drug like heroin to a Schedule III, similar to steroids. Researchers say the relaxed federal standards could help with research into the effects of cannabis. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day 91 points, while the NASDAQ is down 65. And our KSL weather looks like a sunny day, but it's going to stay cool. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
The sun is out and the temps are up. It's time to seize the day and hit the road. You were born to ride, and now's the time to make your dreams a reality. Imagine the wind in your hair as you cruise on your very own power scooter. Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical, and these scooters aren't just for getting around. They're your ticket to freedom. With speeds up to 6 miles per hour, you'll own the road like never before. From graduation to concerts and vacations, our power scooters will get you there in style and ease. Don't wait another minute. The time to ride is now. Let's start your adventure today. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
The life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
A new accident in Davis County, northbound I-15 prior to Layton Parkway. It's been moved over to the shoulder, and Salt Lake City PD wrapping up an accident downtown at State Street and 200 South. Attention Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. GoPave Utah is a full-service parking lot paving, repair, and maintenance company servicing the Wasatch Front. Contact GoPave Utah today. GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our high today will only reach 55 degrees. Tomorrow and Friday get into the low 60s, 77 on Saturday, but then a storm moves in and cools things off on Sunday. 50 degrees and sunny right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic have inside sources.
There's a really good reason why we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's not like I wake up in the morning and say, I can't wait to talk to Boyd about MTG and all of the stuff that she's saying. Wall Street Journal is saying she's going to force a vote next week to oust Speaker Johnson.
This is basically a warning, and it's time for us to go through the process, take our time, and find a new Speaker of the House that will stand with Republicans and our Republican majority instead of standing with the Democrats.
Which is kind of crazy because if I remember correctly, wasn't she going to bat for Kevin McCarthy? Like really defending him? Everybody's coming after Kevin. He can't find a friend on either side of the aisle.
Boyd, what I love about the twist in this story is when I woke up this morning and I thought, we got to talk to Boyd about this. The Dems are saying they're going to come through and save him. So what do you think about that development?
Yeah, and so it's also interesting. So if we go all the way back to Kevin McCarthy, we have to remember that it was the 7 Republicans and every single Democrat that ultimately ousted Kevin McCarthy, and Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of the Republicans who voted not to. So, in that sense, she was standing on the small side of things. And so now for all of that to shift and twist, and I think Hakeem Jeffries and the Democratic leadership coming out saying, look, we're not monkeying around. We don't want to mess with this now. So we will stand, we will not support that motion to vacate the chair. And so I think that's an important thing. It's so interesting to see the dynamics of this. So you may remember she actually filed this motion over a month ago.
Right.
And she was going to deploy it before they had a vote on any of the supplemental bills about Israel and Ukraine and Taiwan. And then she held it until after, and she was going to trigger it after that vote if it went the way she didn't want it to go. But it was very clear she didn't have any support. So then she came out and said, well, I want my colleagues to go home and hear it from their constituents. And so they did. They all went home, and they all came back, and guess what? They didn't hear what she thought they were going to hear. And so she's still on the out. So now she's prolonging it one more time. So her goal in that, just to be really clear, the reason she prolonged it after the vote on those supplemental bills was because she wanted there to be time or a divisive issue that would cause the Democrats to not support Speaker Johnson. So she gets back, and that's clearly not the case. So now she's saying, we're going to let him go home one more time, again, hoping there will either be something that Speaker Johnson brings to the floor that gets Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats riled up, or there's some big divisive thing that is going to be very partisan, because that's her only hope of having that resolution have any kind of effect at all. She needs a big disaster. She needs a big divisive moment to happen for her to have any power. And whenever that is the case, that should put everybody's spidey sense on high alert that this is not about good policy. This is not about good governance. This is about pure politics.
How much of this support from the Democrats is because they genuinely maybe not like the job that Mike Johnson is doing, but they think, you know what, he's doing okay?
I think one of the most fascinating things in all of this is that there is a new governing coalition. And the new governing coalition has passed some pretty significant things with huge numbers. So if you look at the 4 bills they passed last week, each passed with over 300 votes. They also passed the debt ceiling increase. They also passed the funding of the government until the end of September, all with over 300 votes. That is becoming a new coalition, really driven by the center-left and center-right of both parties who actually do want to govern and not just play politics.
You know what I love about the development in this is it feels like both parties are starting to come together on more issues, like you said, getting legislation passed, getting it to the president's desk, him committing that he's going to sign it. And then you got Marjorie Taylor Greene over here still trying to go what we've become so sick and tired of go down that road. And it's not working now. It's not working. And I feel like Speaker Johnson has done a good job. I think he's doing the job of Speaker, which, isn't participating in antics and tweets and getting scooped up in the crazy that's going on back there, but actually be an administrator.
Doing the job. I said on the Wednesday before all of this played out in terms of those votes, when he rolled it out and said, this is what I think is the right thing to do, and if it costs me my job, so be it, that was the day that Mike Johnson became the Speaker of the House. And he's received high praise from across the spectrum. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich to former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi have both said he's doing the job of the Speaker. And the thing that we all have to remember is that both in the House and in the Senate, the leaders are not designed to be political.
No.
It's to navigate and manage the process. Yeah. It's the process that matters.
We've lost sight of that.
Yeah. And so I think the Speaker Johnson's saying, you know what? My job is to do the process. And I love how he phrases this, and we will let the House work its will. That's the way it was designed. So regardless of where you fall on a particular bill or a particular vote, the idea is the Speaker brings it to the floor, or you go through the committees first, then the Speaker brings something to the floor. And then there's debate, and then there's amendments, and then there's votes, and then everybody moves forward. The process works. The founders were pretty amazing. I went back yesterday. Yesterday was the 235th anniversary of George Washington's first inauguration. First inaugural address. Everybody should go read that today. It is written for today, 2024. We should all go read that. And really interesting, and just kind of a side twist there, did you know that George Washington had to walk home after the inaugural festivities because of a traffic jam?
Oh, I didn't know they had cars.
There were so many people.
I-15.
There were so many people in the streets that the carriage could not go out. So George Washington got out and walked home after being inaugurated the first president.
What a guy.
But he did articulate in that first inaugural address these very principles of this is what we're supposed to do. In fact, he asked Congress in his speech. So his inaugural address was before the House and the Senate there in New York. And he said, if ever I have to do something as president from the executive branch, I will do it with the lightest possible touch and with every possible correspondence with you, because it is your job. And then he told them, he said, now you have the power of the purse. And so I want you to give me the minimum in terms of pay to the president, because they decided it in that day. And he said, I only want you to compensate me for things that are absolutely certain for the benefit and good of the American people. Don't compensate me for anything that you can't say that's for the good of the people. That's where we got to get back to. That kind of statesmanship is what we need.
And what is so incredible is you were saying that now, whatever president it is, the very first thing they do is executive order the entire day away.
Yeah.
That's what their entire schedule looks like.
Yeah.
It's like, we're undoing this, we're promoting that through executive order. And my goodness, what a shocking change has happened. And, how do you get back to that? Yeah. Well, in part because Congress has got to step up.
Yeah, and you got to have a Speaker of the House that's willing to say, I will do the job, I will follow the process, even if it costs me my job.
Predictions for what's going to come of next week's vote for keep or can Speaker Johnson?
It'll be tabled. So the motion will come forward, and the majority will stand up and table it, which will include a big chunk of the Democrats, big chunk of the Republicans. It will be like these other votes in this new little governing coalition. It'll be over 300.
Okay, to table it.
To table it.
Okay, so it'll be a resounding move along,
Thanks
Marjorie
for playing.
Taylor
We're
Greene.
done.
Okay.
We need to govern.
Good. We need to
See how many times you can only play this note one time. I think.
No,
Like,
she
I
can
mean,
come
I know
back.
she could technically, but I
It's
wonder
like a
how much.
sushi, unlimited sushi
Yeah.
bar. Is that what
You
we're
just
talking
keep going
about?
back. You think this? You think she'll
gotta change
keep
that
bringing
rule.
this back?
I think
because it
she
was
will.
Matt Gaetz the first time. Now it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I just wonder if this doesn't say, hey, you shot your shot, you've wasted it.
Yeah, it is one of those where if you're going to take a shot, you better make it
Gotta
count.
hit it.
And she's not going to hit it, and so then it will be. Does she have anything in terms of juice? What does that do for her? She'll get some good fundraising out of it next week. Watch for those.
Well, you watch
emails.
for yours. You get all the emails.
I get
and
all
then
the
come on
emails.
the air and tell
It's
us what
coming.
she says.
I will tell you what she
I
said.
love that.
I guarantee you.
That's the tea I like to hear.
She's going to ask for $750.
$750.
It's going to be a big donation time.
Boyd Matheson, thank you. Inside Sources today starts at 1.
Okay, straight ahead, Matt Gephardt joining the show live from the KSL5 investigative unit. He did something so cool. He just did this story.
I decided to take advantage of a spring break trip that my family had booked to Orlando. I would ship my luggage ahead of time.
He's packing up his clothes in a box and taping the box shut to see if it saves money over actually like boarding a plane and loading your luggage on a plane. So Matt's joining us next to tell us what he found. Is it cheaper to ship your stuff to your destination on vacation?
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
One great thing that I've loved about my Connecticut water system, soft water system, is that it's an investment. You're like, oh, you paid for it? Yeah, I paid for it. I paid for it just like you guys did. Same price, too. So when I tell you that we've loved our soft water system from Connecticut, we mean it. And the number one thing that, and what was most important to us, is we really struggle with dry skin here, obviously in the dry desert climate of Utah. It's not a big surprise. But they told us when they came out to our house, yeah, this will make a huge difference. As soon as you get soft water in the house, when you get out of the shower, you will feel the difference the very first time you take that shower. And then as far as like taking care of it and making sure that it's running, the way the Connecticut soft water system is designed is it's completely mechanical. So it doesn't have any computers sitting on top that if the power goes out, you have to reset anything. No, it just works 24/7, soft water all the time. And as far as loading a little salt in the bin is like knee high. So it's a very easy load. You grab that rock salt in, dump it in, boom, that's it. You get soft water. 801-576-8600, 801-576-8600. They're a Connecticut or an authorized Connecticut dealer, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com.
The jurors are taking notes
Daybell sat with his hands crossed, staring down both witnesses.
and watching screens as evidence is presented.
New information that hasn't come out in the case before now.
Get updates mornings, afternoons, and when they break. Amy Kobabe is in the Boise courtroom all week long. The trial of Chad Daybell on KSL News Radio.
It's springtime in the Rockies, and it's time to apply Revive Organic Soil Treatment. A Revive treatment with fertilization, aeration, and good watering is the key to building stronger roots for a healthy, lush green lawn. Revive fertilizes and moves water and nutrients deeper into the soil. Take advantage of spring storms with an application of Revive now. Protect yourself from drought later this summer and skyrocketing water costs. With Revive, if you water 2 times a week, it's like watering 4. Apply Revive Organic Soil Treatment today. It works.
A fiduciary has the regulatory obligation to put your best interest first. Trajan Wealth is a financial fiduciary for your investments. With Trajan Wealth, the more you make, the more we make. Our interests are aligned. Most other financial advisors are brokers held to a lesser standard and are paid an upfront commission to sell you something. Call Trajan Wealth 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Tomorrow's a very, very special day for a Utah widow and a good friend of mine. And her husband, Utah police officer Trent Halliday, wasn't killed by a bullet, but by liver cancer after years of exposure to toxic chemicals while investigating meth labs all across Utah. Officer Halliday died in 2006 at the age of 37. Tomorrow, 18 years later, Officer Halliday's name will be added to the Utah Law Enforcement Memorial, which honors Utah's fallen police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty. Investigating meth labs across Utah ultimately killed Officer Halliday. Dave and I are proud to be broadcasting live tomorrow morning for the entire show from 9 to noon from the Utah Law Enforcement Memorial at the state capitol as Officer Halliday's name is added to the wall. Please join us tomorrow morning at 9 for this very special broadcast.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, the question we're going to be asking of Matt Gephardt is how much money did he save? How much money did he save by boxing up his stuff when he was traveling with his family and shipping it? I mean, it was across the globe. Maybe it was just across the United States. Matt's going to join us in just a minute, but let's listen to a clip of a story that aired on KSL5 TV.
I decided to take advantage of a spring break trip that my family had booked to Orlando. I would ship my luggage ahead of time. Before I do, better seek out some advice.
It's pretty seamless.
I turned to travel expert Katie Nastro of Going.com. She says lots of people in her industry ship their stuff ahead of time.
I've shipped many things.
Her first bit of advice?
I'm not putting these items in a piece of luggage necessarily.
Oh, there's the hack. I just assumed you'd load up the luggage, you'd throw it in a ginormous box, and you'd send it.
Oh, my goodness. That's why we have Matt Gephardt. Inflation buster for KSL5 TV, investigative reporter Matt Gephardt on the phone with us live. Are you calling us from Orlando?
No, I'm back. The mouse kicked me out eventually.
Boring. Okay, so Dave didn't realize that you just throw all your clothes in the box, right? And then you use the packing tape to seal it up.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. I thought it was going to be check a suitcase, and then it was, you could check a suitcase, and there are companies that do that, it's one thing that I'd never really noticed before because I've been part of that dance that I think we've all been a part of out at the airport where, the bag is, 50.2 pounds. So you sit on the floor and you frantically move, the one heavy thing into your spouses and move something for the things we've all been there, the pain in the butt. And, but by actually not using my, canvas suitcase, it was like close to 10 pounds lighter just to use like a cardboard box. And also like when you get into like all those compartments, I mean, it looks so much smaller, a box, I should say. I use a small, so if you've ever gone down to like Home Depot or Lowe's and bought small, medium, and large, the standard size boxes, the small box fit my international size suitcase. So I'm thinking like, it's going to be huge. No, it's like, when you get rid of the wheels and the canvas and the zippers and everything
handle,
else,
yeah.
It's lighter, it's smaller, yeah. And, and that factored into the price.
Okay, so what are we talking cost-wise? Because now I'm trying to do the math of, do I pay to, check the luggage or do I ship it? What wins out?
All right, so here's the thing. It will cost you this is one of those stories that's just perfect for radio, right? Because there's like so much math involved. Everybody get out your whiteboards.
Oh, no.
But it's one of those things where, you're flying Southwest where you get free bags, well, that has to factor into it.
Okay.
I flew Delta on this flight that I took. It was, and something that really is what kind of inspired this story is since the beginning of the year, many airlines have been kind of quietly raising the price of checked bag fees. So now Delta, the first bag, has gone up to $35, which is like, I mean, that's not real money.
Yeah.
And so now, is it worth it? Well, $35 is what Delta will charge if they're going to take your bag on a flight from here to Provo, and it's what Delta is going to charge if they're taking your bag on a flight from here to, Paris. So whereas the shipping companies, UPS, Postal Service, FedEx, they charge based on weight and size and distance. So is it worth it really comes down to where are you going. In my case, going to Orlando, it cost $56 to use the Postal Service to get my bag there. So, yeah, it was more money. It definitely was more money. Had I been going to Disneyland in California, it would have cost me less than $20. Actually, forgive me, it would have cost me $22. So less money. So I would have saved money going to Disneyland. And then when you start talking about cost, and we've reported on this a lot too, there's also the cost of convenience, the things we pay for, like DoorDash and whatever. There is a convenience to not having to schlepp this stuff around with you and have it just kind of waiting for you when you get there.
Where do you pick it up from? Where do you send it? You're like, hey, Hilton, keep an eye out. I'm sending you a ginormous package of clothes.
The best part is it's like it literally is a Home Depot box. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Matt. Your story is incredible. But I was chuckling as I was watching it this morning on KSL5's website. But go ahead.
It was. Short answer is I don't know where you sent it. Where I sent it to was the resort, and I won't pretend like it wasn't stressful because I'm going to. This wasn't going to Grandma's house where you could like send your Christmas presents early, and Grandma can call and say, "Hey, I got the box." This was like a resort I'd never stayed at before. I called them up. I'm like, you guys and they gave me some confidence when I called them because it was a resort that had a golf course. And they're like, oh, yeah, people ship us their golf clubs all the time.
Oh, okay.
And, like, we have a mail room.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. So that gave me some confidence. But, like, I would not do this going to, say, an Airbnb. I would not do this going to maybe, a Fleabag motel. But a resort that has a mail room. I called ahead of time. They said, we'll do it. And, I got off the plane and my family all waited for their nonsense. And I was hands-free all the way to the hotel. But I did not know whether or not I would have underwear tomorrow until I got there.
Well, you had the underwear you were wearing, so
one pair not enough.
Okay. So ultimately, okay,
one pair not enough, especially after that flight. Come on, Davey.
You went to Orlando. There's a Walmart. I'm sure you could have swung into the Walmart. But okay, my question is this: at the end of the day, Matt, you're a very thoughtful guy. Is this something that you would do on the regular?
Yeah, I actually think I would. You know what?
Okay.
Here's what I'm absolutely going to do on the regular. I hate having bags in my hands. I hate baggage claim. I've lost bags through the airlines. They've gotten better, of course, but I've lost bags through the airlines before. So I will 100% do this going someplace where I feel like they have control of the bag. So a resort, a resort, Grandma's house, someplace where I'm going to visit my buddies, that sort of thing. Where I'll really use it, I think, is coming home because like a lot of us go on vacation and we buy stuff, and now because the savings isn't necessarily there that much on the first bag. But when you start getting into that second bag area and just like having that stuff sent home and waiting for you on your porch when you get there after you've like gone to these tourist destinations and bought stuff. Yeah, I really do think I'll use it. And like we go over, I'm from California. We go back to California a lot, so I'll use. I mean, it's a huge money saver going there. There's a time investment to it, but I think for me the real takeaway was the stress. When I'm getting there on vacation, I kind of like want to be able to hit the ground running, and in those cases, having that bag in my hand is really like is nice. But when I get home, I've got other underwear at home. I've got other shirts at home. If for some reason it gets delayed and takes a minute to get there, so be it. I'm confident it's going to make it eventually.
Did you insure it?
Nope.
Rolling the dice, Matt. I love it.
I did not. Yeah. So like the short answer to how much money did I save? The answer is KSL paid for it, so I saved $35. But really, it would have cost, had it been my money, it would have cost me more going to Orlando than simply checking that first bag.
Okay, wow. Awesome experiment. KSL5 Television's Matt Gephardt, investigative reporter. You can catch his full report at ksltv.com. You can see him boxing up his stuff and shipping it, trying to decipher through saving money by shipping your stuff if you're heading on vacation versus loading up, your luggage and then taking it to the airport with you.
Especially if you're just staying at one place. That would be so easy.
So I just don't understand why y'all are complicating this. I totally loved Matt's experiment. Totally loved it. But I'm sitting here thinking, like, I've had the American Express card with the Delta miles on it for 25 years. I stumbled and fell into this thanks to my sister nudging me and being, you ought to get a card that gives you flight miles. But I get checked bags for free on Delta. Now you have to fly Delta.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's one life hack. I'm going to pass that on to Matt. The other life hack, travel hack that I use is, I said it earlier, I only use a backpack when I fly. And I layer up, right? So you got to put your yoga pants on over your other yoga pants. You can wear 3 shirts and tie your sweatshirt around your waist. And guess what? There's no lost luggage. There's no stress. I bring the backpack on the plane. I leave, the water bottles at home. I don't have a lot of liquids with me. And I have mastered this thing. Y'all are making it so complicated. That's such a man thing, isn't it, Dave? It's such a man thing.
I kind of dig the life hack. Send it. Pack it up. UPS. Who do you trust more, the airline or United States Postal Service?
No, my backpack. Hey, there's it's called Senior Assassin. And it sent one parent running for their gun. Is this a senior prank, Dave?
Little harmless fun? Or is it truly dangerous?
Oh, let's talk about it next.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour, the Alpine School District narrowing the options for a potential split, which could eventually be presented to voters this fall. The district board voted on different plans to continue studying, and they tell KSL if a division were to happen, they'd prefer an east-west split. Some district leaders say they still feel the best option is to keep the district together the way it is. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is in Tel Aviv talking again with the families of hostages held by Hamas. We have more from ABC's Tom Rivers at the Foreign Desk.
The Secretary of State's message to the distraught vocal relatives.
We will not rest until everyone, man, woman, soldier, civilian, young, old, is back home.
But a lot of time has passed. This relative says,
he told us all the problems that they have as United States, and he spoke with everybody.
Dozens of frustrated demonstrators have been calling for an immediate ceasefire deal. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up 127 points on the day, while the NASDAQ is down 57. And our KSL weather, we have sunshine, but it's going to stay cool for a couple of days. KSL News Time, 11:32.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night, Dee and I had the chance to go to Hale Center Theater and catch the opening night of a regional premiere. The title of the show? I know you probably haven't heard it before because, as I mentioned, it's a regional premiere, May We All, a country musical. This is where the wide, wide world is like one big country song. What a fun show. Small-town country girl goes out for her dream and ends up back in her hometown in Tennessee. There are so many wonderful, familiar tunes here, original music, of course, and what I love is the fun story that's all mixed with the greatest voices and live music throughout the presentation. You're going to love May We All. And still to come, just around the corner now, how about the Time Machine? It's time to get your season tickets. Nutty Professor, Addams Family, The Magician's Elephant, Beauty and the Beast. There's so much more. Go to hct.org. Get your tickets now in time for Mother's Day.
Progressive presents
10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
For over 10 years, IVC has been holding an event to celebrate women. Mark your calendar for Saturday morning, May 4th, to attend IVC's annual Mother's Day event, where you'll receive a complimentary assessment, which includes an ultrasound exam and consultation with one of IVC's board-certified physicians. If you're experiencing any pelvic or leg achiness, heaviness, or pain, this event is a perfect opportunity to get some answers and some relief. Give yourself the attention you deserve. Pelvic congestion syndrome, or pelvic venous congestion, is an important but often overlooked cause of chronic pelvic pain. And chronic leg achiness and pain are often symptoms of varicose veins. Don't worry anymore. The physicians at IVC can help. IVC has been named the best vein center in Utah Valley for over 10 years in a row. Don't delay. Space is limited. Go to ivein.com or call 801-379-6700. IVC. Life starts when the pain stops.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
A good-looking drive on the Valley freeways, but we do have an auto versus motorcycle or bike crash in downtown Salt Lake City at 9th East and 800 South. UDOT construction alert. Plan for major delays on northbound Highway 89 this weekend as Weber Basin Water will close US 89 at SR 193 for pipeline construction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our high today will only get up to about 55 degrees. Tomorrow and Friday into the low 60s. We'll see 77 on Saturday, and then a storm moves in on Sunday. 50 degrees and sunny right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Let's talk about senior assassin. Apparently, this sent one parent running for a gun. What is this? You're probably wondering. Is this a situation of harmless fun or kids being kids? Or is it truly dangerous? First of all, I don't even know what senior assassin is, Dave.
First of all, it's not senior assassin. It's senior assassin. First of all,
what is it?
It is a game everyone plays. And they're going to explain it here. Kaysville City Police is going to explain it now.
Okay.
Now, the question is, are we so hyper terrified of our shadow, of everything that's going on around us, that as soon as we see something that's a little peculiar, we don't understand, that we go running for our gun? You got to listen to Kaysville. This happened in my town.
Oh, okay.
And this wasn't me bringing the story. This was KSL News Radio reaching out. They heard about the story. But it's a popular high school game. My kids have played it.
Okay.
It's basically what seniors do to kind of have fun in the final months of their career.
Okay. So high school seniors.
This is not like an official sanctioned high school thing. This is just kind of a trend that we've done for years. This goes all the way back to the 90s, probably even before that. I played Senior Assassin.
You did?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I thought everyone did. Is this new? You never played Senior Assassin?
I've never heard. We just usually did a senior prank. We toilet papered people's homes. We had Senior Ditch Day. where we all just ditched, but our parents usually called us in as sick, so we didn't get an unexcused absence. So it's kind of a cheat. We weren't really being that, we weren't being horrible kids. But
this is one of my favorite games.
Okay.
One of my favorite memories.
Okay, so this is Alexis Benson with the Kaysville City Police Department. She's talking about the details and giving us the consequences of Senior Assassin.
So the high schoolers like to play a game called Senior Assassin. Basically, they're each given a name, and their goal is to squirt this person with a squirt gun. And that could be, any time of the day or night. As they go through, people get eliminated once they're squirted, and the last man standing is the winner. And it sounds like that person gets all the money that's put into a pool for that game. Today, right before 7 o'clock this morning, our officers were called to a man with a gun near 840 East Westbrook Road. The individuals making the phone call reported that there was a male in their backyard that appeared to be holding a handgun. So they immediately called 911, and the female in the house went to grab a firearm as she was scared for her life. We ended up finding the individual, and we conducted a felony stop on them and found that they had a squirt gun and that they were playing this Senior Assassin game.
So they've got squirt guns, and they just squirt each other. And if you get squirted by the squirt gun, you are out.
Did you say they were in their backyard?
They were in a backyard. It was not their backyard.
Okay, well, they're trespassing.
Yeah, they're definitely
It's
trespassing.
gotten out of hand. That's get out of my backyard with the hand. I mean, if it looks like it, they thought it was a handgun.
How do you mistake a water gun for a handgun?
Well, I'm not going to blame the victim in here. I'm going to blame the kids. I mean, come on. Use
I'll
your
blame
brains
I'll
if you
blame
have
the
them.
lady that thought, oh, that's a
No
real
way.
gun. It's a squirt
You got
gun.
somebody in your backyard, you're absolutely dialing 911, and then the cops got to come out and make a felony stop. Take them to jail if they're 18 years old. There you go.
Deb,
You
is
got a mug
everything
shot.
is threat level midnight.
So she wants people to start talking to their kids about the consequences of these kinds of games. I think there could be some pretty serious consequences.
Abide by the law. Don't be breaking into people's houses, hiding in people's garages. That can be, a big alert for people. We've also obtained a video of a student walking around the grocery store with what appears to be a gun. And then he's pointing it as if it is a gun. So it is very alerting for people. And so, we just want people to think before they act and just realize what this could appear to anybody else that might not be aware of the game or participating in the game. We love that the kids are out having fun and doing something that is innocent, but we also don't want anyone to get hurt while trying to play this game.
I've been injured playing Senior Assassin because what happens is someone tries to corner you or sneaks up on you because they want to squirt. You only get out if you get squirted. So you will see people running and hurtling over fences like they're being chased by a rabid dog.
So I guess because I have no idea, and you said you played this Senior Assassin, it sounds like the senior prank when you were in high school. Explain to me, is it a one-on-one squirt gun game, or is it kids you open your front door and they're dared to squirt an adult they don't know in the face with a squirt gun?
Let's say 50 of your friends. We all agree we're going to play Senior Assassin, okay? So that those 50, you just got to shoot them with this squirt gun. At any point, at any time, you say, we're going to go for a week. Last man standing. So then sometime during that week, those 7 days, it's your responsibility to shoot as many of your friends with the squirt gun and get them out. So you could be hiding under their car. You could be hiding in the bushes when they arrive home from work. So you're trying to ambush them so that you can squirt them, and then whoever is the last person standing, and you just whittle it down. You usually have a little list, like who's still in the game, who still needs to get got.
It sounds like super fun for
It's
the kids.
incredibly fun.
So do you tell your parents you're engaged in this game? So if Johnny ends up in the backyard while mom is dressed in a bathrobe, she doesn't freak out?
Everybody is aware of the game in the family, just because you're like, you won't even answer the door. You'll send your little brother, you're like, go check, see who it is, and only crack the door. Leave the latch on there. Don't let anybody in. So, yeah, the entire this is an entire family situation.
And this is going on in Kaysville. Is it just a Kaysville thing?
I assumed everyone did it. I just
I've
grew
never
up with
heard
it.
of this thing.
No one has heard of Senior Assassin. This is the most fun. And did I run through a million different yards and jump over fences and dodge dogs? Absolutely.
I think it's because you're old that you got away with it and you didn't get shot. Wouldn't you think your kids today would get?
No. The fact that that's even a consideration, like kids running around the neighborhood. Don Brinkerhoff just told me, Senior Assassin, very popular in Cedar City.
What was your?
I can't believe you didn't play.
I don't even know about
I was out in
this
5 minutes.
You were out in 5 minutes.
Oh my! I'm the biggest target there is.
Yeah.
Like you can squirt it into the air and hit me.
All right, this sounds quite dorky to me. This sounds so dorky to me.
Get in front of a monitor, kids. Play your video games.
There's no
Stop getting
way.
outside in my backyard.
I found out my kids were walking around in somebody's backyard and with a squirt gun. And probably, who knows if the squirt gun looks like a real. I don't even know what these things look like anymore. But let's take live phone calls. 801-575-TALK. No, I'm not going to ask you if you think your kids should play or not play. I want to find out what your most infamous senior prank was when you were in high school. 801-575-TALK. Here's your chance to be a super senior and really, really shine. So let's have some fun for the end of the show as we send you off into the lunch hour.
Statute of limitations is most likely up. So go ahead, give us a call. Spill the beans. What was the crazy senior prank that you did or crazy game that you played? 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
You've been trying to hold off, but you think it's time you might need a new roof? Best move you could make is to call the highest-rated roofing contractor in Utah. IWC Roofing has been working up there for 27 years. They offer the best warranty in the business, backed by Owens Corning. What's most amazing is they'll replace your entire roof in one day. Instead of Chuck with a truck showing up for a week of chaos and mayhem, you get professionals. IWC Roofing is in, they're out, and they power wash your driveway just to say thank you. They'll even send pictures from the roof so you know exactly what you're getting for your hard-earned money. Now, you think a highly skilled Owens Corning Platinum Certified contractor would charge more, but no. IWC offers a better price, and if you call now, they'll give you an extra $2,000 off your quote. $2,000 off. So call IWC Roofing for a free estimate, 801-232-5690, 232-5690, or visit IWCRoofingUtah.com.
Looking for a secure retirement plan without market risk? Look no further. Lyle Boss, president of Boss Financial, specializes in no market risk retirement strategies with guarantees of principal, guaranteed growth, and lifelong income. Join Lyle right here each Saturday and Sunday for his Safe Money radio show, and call him now at 855-355-SAFE for your complimentary customized Safe Money information kit and Safe Money book. Nothing but upside here at 855-355-SAFE.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have, because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only. Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
The best kept secret is this is the pass. It's a pass for fun for everyone. Save $20 off every annual pass level. 362 days of fun. Visit thisisthepass.com.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Did you know that Utah is home to over 300,000 small businesses? This achievement is thanks to our state's premier business resources, including the new Startup State Initiative. Ryan Starks, Executive Director at the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, joins us with more.
With a young and educated workforce, low corporate tax rate, high government support for startups, and a thriving economy, Utah is the perfect place to start a business. At the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity, we know our state has a strong entrepreneurial community. However, we also know starting a business can be challenging. That's why our office, in conjunction with Governor Cox's economic vision for Utah, has launched the Startup State Initiative. As part of this initiative, we've developed a website that unifies the state's business resources into one place. The step-by-step entrepreneur journey guide, business plan generator, and comprehensive list of resources will support you in every step of the business journey. We want to make it easier for anyone to start a business here. Visit startup.utah.gov today and get ready to start something here.
Utah is called the startup capital of the world for a reason. If you're a small business owner or soon-to-be entrepreneur, check out startup.utah.gov for resources tailored to your needs. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, some leaders of the Alpine School District say they don't want to see the district split up. Second, the U.S. Secretary of State is in Israel talking with families of hostages still held by Hamas. Third, the Nebo School District trying to deal with a series of threats made against a middle school in Payson. 50 degrees and sunny right now in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
No joke. Our phone lines are lighting up, Dave. We're talking about the senior prank up in Kaysville, Dave's hometown, called Senior Assassin. So we asked our listeners to call in and divulge what their senior prank was. We'll get to the phone lines in about 30 seconds, but recap what Senior Assassin means to your community, Dave.
I think the best way to describe it, it's a giant game of tag with water balloons. And as soon as you get tagged, you are out.
Oh, it's balloons.
Or, sorry, not balloons. Water guns.
Oh, okay.
So
I was going to say I wouldn't worry about
I've played with water
if I saw
balloons
somebody.
in the
I worry
past.
about somebody walking around with a gun. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's a plastic water gun.
Yeah, so a plastic water gun, basically what you do is you'll try to catch your buddy, catch your friend, your girlfriend, and if you can shoot her, you with the water gun, then she's out. And then last person standing, it's amazing. It's so much fun. I'd play it today. I'd play it with my buddies today.
But cops had to get involved up in Kaysville because it sounds like one guy ended up in a woman's backyard. She got nervous. I'd be too. So she calls 911 and then ends up in some sort of a felony traffic stop or something like that. I mean, I think the senior pranks can go south. What was your senior prank, Scott?
Senior prank, went to Weaver High School 30-something years ago, and it was really not seniors, it was juniors launching water balloons off the cliff above Weaver High's football field, where we'd hold graduation, and we'd be launching with the big old syringes, the
rubber tubes.
Elastic, the rubber tubes with a Cool Whip cup right off of there and onto them while they're practicing for graduation.
That's amazing. Thanks, Scott. How about you, Austin? You with us, Austin?
Austin in Provo? Just lost Austin in Provo.
He's probably in the hamburger line at Crown Burger, so he's got to go. Julie, South Weber, what do you know? What was your senior prank?
Well, I'm actually calling about my daughter.
Go.
We had she's a senior right now playing Senior Assassin, and we had an incident last week where there was a guy creeping around, and my neighbor called. And we were fully aware of everything, just like Dave said. Like, the door opens, nobody answers it, we have to peek for my daughter. And anyway, so this was early in the morning. He was expecting her to be coming out to go to school, but she doesn't have a first period class. So he's hanging out there for quite a while, and my neighbor's getting really nervous and he took pictures because it does look like he's carrying a gun. I know you don't think water guns would look like that, but he took pictures and sent it to me, and this kid looked really old. He looked like he was in his 20s. So
it was creepy. All of a sudden, you started getting freaked out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about different people that. Oh my gosh! And we had a boat for sale, so I'm like, is he trying to check that out? But I mean, it was to the point we were kind of shaken up, and they were thinking about calling the cops. And then here my daughter comes up the stairs, and we're like, Keely, I don't want to freak you out, but this guy's in the neighborhood. And she's like, that's my Senior Assassin. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. There is a fine line. I'm not sure what to think about at all, but it's fun, but I can see how it's really, maybe not the time anymore for it.
Yeah, maybe it served its purpose. Julie, thanks a million for calling in. Bert in Provo, hi. What was your senior prank?
We called it Operation Check the Y.
Check the Y. Why is that?
Check the Y. Well, it's pretty common for people to hike up to the Y. And it's also common for, back in those days, to have people like the U guys would come down and try to paint the Y red and, different things. Yeah. So we devised a plan to not hurt the Y in any way, but Vans were really popular in the late 80s, the checkerboard shoes.
Yeah.
So that's where Operation Check the Y goes. So we went to Ernst Lumber. I don't know if you guys
I remember Ernst.
We bought some black Zip Queen, and we taped it all together, big squares, 20 by 20 squares. And then just before graduation, we went up in the night and did it. And we went and checkerboarded the Y.
That's amazing. Please tell me you have a picture of this.
Well, there is some. Yeah, there is some.
There's some
in
evidence?
the morning when it was discovered, we used rocks to hold down all the Zip Queen because we didn't want to get in trouble for vandalism. But they could probably got us for littering, maybe. But
that's funny. I think everybody's got a senior prank story, but I don't know if I'd put that much effort into it. So on our KSL News Radio Facebook page, I love what Natalie said. She said, our class took all the door numbers off all the doors so the freshmen would get lost.
That's pretty good. That's funny. Yeah, anytime you can stick it to the freshmen, that's a big win.
So what do you think about Senior Assassin? Do you think, to our earlier caller's point, is it still, Julie's point, is it still the time for it? It used to be a big deal back in your day, but you just had the neighborhood all on high alert because even though they knew the game was going on, they'd forgotten in the moment, couldn't figure out why this guy, not a kid, looked like an adult, he was probably a kid, was lurking around with a water gun by their boat, but they couldn't tell for sure if it was a water gun.
Yeah, just about anything that gets kids outside and interacting together and having fun, I am all for it. And as a community, we probably need to be a little bit more aware of what's going on. Tell your fans or your friends and your family, get them involved. Trust me, it is a community affair because everyone's looking out for you.
Inside the school senior prank ideas, here's a blog, Dave. How about this one? Line the walls with Post-it notes from floor to ceiling. I wouldn't do anything on the school campus. I would do nothing at all. Not these days. How about fill an entire hallway with helium balloons? Again, I would do absolutely nothing involving the school.
That's some expense behind it.
Put petroleum jelly on doorknobs and handrails. That's the stuff we did in the 80s. It was just stupid stuff like that.
I despise pranks, by the way. Like I don't handle them well. If somebody pranks me, I'm not a good sport about it.
We would toilet paper people's houses. And of course,
TP.
Yeah, back in the day, you didn't have surveillance cameras.
Yeah,
so
no ring doorbells.
You didn't have to worry about being caught on camera. There were no surveillance cameras at, the local convenience store or the local grocery store, so you didn't have to worry about, getting caught on their surveillance camera, purchasing 7,500 rolls of toilet paper. The only thing you had to worry about was snitching. Your buddy snitching on you, or the dad,
bragging. Yeah,
or
bragging,
or the dad. Because I grew up in Arizona, most of the front yards were gravel, so you did the dad running out because they hear the people walking around on the gravel. So you'd have a lookout. You have somebody on the lookout, and then you would just start doing tons. You start tossing toilet paper rolls. You throw a rock in the tube. You put a rock in the tube so you could get some.
Oh yeah.
You throw it over and the thing is, the great thing about doing this in Arizona is you were toilet papering a sorrel cactus.
Oh, beast to clean.
It's there forever. Maria's up next. She's got the latest on the college protests in our state and around the nation.